All right, hello YouTube. We are live. Sorry about that. Had a little. I don't know why YouTube's taking a lot longer to connect once we hit go on the streaming thing for some reason. Probably, I don't know.
It doesn't like you.
It's probably double the time it used to take for it finally came up with the preview and ready to stream. So, but we're getting ready to get started here on episode 43 of Geekery Abides. Let's go ahead and hit the intro and get started.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
Hello and welcome to Geekery Abides. This is our podcast where we cover everything that is not Stephen King. Welcome. I am Tad, and with me as always is Peter.
Hello.
And we are laughing because I just
Tad's tormenting my wife.
Hey, it's your fault though.
It is.
Because you told me about all that. Pinky cutting and whatnot.
It's true, I did. I'm not going to deny it.
Oh, man. So let's go ahead and jump on in here. We are here. So I guess, first thing off, if you, because I don't really have any slides or anything for it, but if you do want to support the show, definitely like the video and subscribe and all those fun things that YouTube people have to say. Otherwise, the clown from Dead by Daylight will come get your pinky.
What's your pinkies?
Let's go ahead and jump on over to, oops, let me make sure I get the next slide before I push the button. There we go. If you want to email the show, you can do that at emailing either of us directly at Peter at geekeryabides.com or Tad, T-A-D-D, at geekeryabides.com. We do every other episode, so the odd ones are me, the even ones are Peter, and so this is my episode, for instance. So if you have feedback on shows or show ideas, whatever, you could send those over in those ways. We do have an email today, so we have a third list outside of ourselves to go along with our main topic, which Peter is still happy with me about.
I hate you so much.
Of doing. He's been texting me and talking to me at work and giving me shit about this topic for basically 2 weeks now. So
you deserve every bit of it too.
It makes me happy. So let's go ahead and jump on over to watching, reading, playing. So what do you got, sir?
So still watching Criminal Minds. My wife's watching it, so whenever we don't have anything else to watch, that's what we watch. I did rewatch The Martian last week.
That's a fun one.
It's such a good movie.
Have you ever read it?
No. No, I don't think I have.
Apparently it's pretty good.
I
don't know. I don't remember if I have or if I've been told about it. I do know the opening line as well. I'm completely fucked or something like that's like the opening line, which it's a line in the movie too. But that's a great movie though. I really enjoyed that one. It's also, if we still played our actor linking game, that would be a killer one. There's a lot of
realized
fucking people
there were so many people in that movie.
There really are.
I was telling my wife about that. There's Wong from Doctor Strange is in it.
Yeah.
Nathan from Ted Lasso's in it.
Yeah, I feel like every time I watch it, I'm like, there's new people, or I'm Leoing.
Mustafa. Is it? No, it's not Mustafa Ali. That's a Mahershala Ali. That's a different movie that I was thinking about. Oh, no, maybe it is.
The Martian.
No, that's Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I was talking to my wife about that one, too.
Matt Damon, Jessica Chastain, Kristen Wiig, Michael Pena,
Sean
Jeff Daniels, Sean Bean, Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian Stan. I always forget about him.
Chiwetel Ejiofor,
That's the one
Benedict Wong. Donald Glover.
Yeah. Donald Glover, too, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch, and that's just the opening page here.
Yeah.
So
there's a ton of people in that movie. I don't know how they afforded it.
That's a banger of a movie, man.
It is.
I think it's because it's
Great
like
movie.
Ridley Scott. So, he's
good.
like, what are you going to do? Shortchange me?
Yeah.
And they're like, yes, Mr. Scott, here's your check.
Here's your check. Fill in the amount later.
I mean, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna tell him no when it comes to Ridley Scott? Like, come on.
I am not.
He's a legend.
And then the last two things I watched, I did watch the first two episodes of Agatha All Along. And then
I got a couple discussion topics on that we can cover briefly.
And then I also watched the first episode of The Penguin.
Okay. Got a little bit on that, too. So go ahead and finish yours out before.
And then I read The Regulators, and I am currently reading Desperation. So this is interesting. This is a Stephen King books, but I'm going to talk about them for a little bit. Desperation is written by Stephen King. The Regulators is written by Richard Bachman, which, if you don't know, are the same person.
Yeah.
That's Stephen King's
pseudonym.
Pseudonym. That's what it's called.
Pen name, whatever
You want to call it.
But that one came long after it had been exposed. That was exposed, and then it was like a decade or so later that he decided that he wanted to do like a two books that were like somewhat connected. And he's like, well, I don't know if I could really write it. And then it dawned on me, like, I could do it. I can make it a Bachman novel.
You can just make it a Bachman novel. But it's even more so than that because it's the same characters just in a different situation. So, like, in one, there's a vet. In the other one, there's a vet. They don't act the same, but they have the same name.
Yeah.
So it's just it's really interesting. Also, it's really kind of jarring because The Regulators was like a crisp 14 hours, kind of a little bit on the shorter side. Desperation, 23 hours. Fucking novel.
I love it.
So just hit me with that. Playing, I don't know if I covered this last time or if it was a text to you. But I finished GTA 5 story.
Yeah. It was just a text.
It was a text. Okay, and that's what I didn't put it, but I was like, I'm going to bring it up just in case.
Yeah.
And then I started playing Spider-Man again.
It's a good one.
The first one, because the second one's still not released on PC yet.
Tis a giddin'.
Yet, I say, because when it is, I will be buying it and playing it. Luckily, I have had nothing spoiled for me for that game. I don't know how I dodged all those bullets.
Except for the advertising. The fact that it's Venom, like
that's in the first teaser trailer.
That's what I mean.
So.
Like, except for but it's not like you're going to go into the game going, I wonder what villains are going to use. Like,
they're going to use the same ones.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then playing Dead by Daylight last night was so fun.
Well, I will say the only spoiler: Uncle Ben does not come back. To life.
Okay, good. good.
Zombie Uncle Ben. Responsibility. But yeah, going along with you said Dead by Daylight. We played that last night with our normal group of movie goers, including Hayden. And that was a joy.
Screamed so loud that his mic cut out.
Oh, it was great. I mean, your wife reacted a few times.
Right? I did too.
When I was Chucky and the Clown, I don't think she was none too happy about it.
Do you know what she said to me today about it? Ghostface was the one that got her the worst because it snuck up on her.
Yeah, there was a couple where like someone is running and they went like around one way, and I'm like, okay, so I'll go around the other way. And a couple times it worked out perfectly where they came face to face with me.
Yeah.
So
there was a couple times where I was like, there's these cheeky little moves where you can like double back and it'll like throw the killer off. I tried that and you were just like standing there like, I know what he's doing. This is smarmy little fuck.
Then I'm also still playing Star Wars Outlaws. I'm really digging that game a lot. Reading The Stand still. I'm down into like the teens for hours. I've been hitting that one slower than I usually do. So
I usually start that in like June.
Like late June. But usually I'm done with it before the summer is out.
It's September
but
now, Tad.
Yeah, but I've just been taking that one slower. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff, so that's my excuse. But it's also not bad to savor it a bit. And then watching wise, Breaking Bad. I did finish Breaking Bad. I haven't watched El Camino yet. That's my last bit of my Vince Gilligan rewatch.
Are you saving it?
No, I just haven't had time. I finished Breaking Bad late Sunday last week and then recording this week, so haven't had a lot of chance to throw on an hour-and-a-half movie. So.
And we gamed for 2 or 3 hours last night. So.
And then Agatha All Along, went and saw that in theaters. Got a thing about they did free tickets the night before it came out. So Hayden and I went, saw it in theaters. A couple things I wanted to discuss on that. I'm sure you watched it with your wife, so
sure did.
Good there. Teen, any thoughts there?
Teen? Yeah. Why is his name redacted?
Yeah, as well as his backstory.
Yeah.
He's gay.
Okay.
He wants The Witch's Road.
Okay.
I had this thought the night after seeing it in theaters, and then the next day, obviously, it hit, and it's become such a big one that I don't feel like I'm like breaking any news to people theory-wise. Not news, but theories. But I think it's Billy, her kid.
Really?
Witch. He's Wiccan. He's into the witchcraft stuff.
You're telling me about a character I know nothing about, so go ahead.
It's her. I mean, she has the two boys. The one's a speedster, and the one is going to end up being. His name's Wiccan in the comics.
Oh, okay.
But all that to say that he's basically more in his mom's realm of like witchy nonsense and stuff.
Yeah.
He's gay in the comics. One of the more iconic things is he's boyfriends with the Hulkling. And
Okay.
he gets the call from the boyfriend and says he worries. That all feels very right, as well as you see him holding the rabbit when the 7 witches come. He finds the rabbit upstairs and he like holds it. And there's in WandaVision, he's the kid that's holding the rabbit when she takes them.
Oh.
So there's so because like the whole black heart thing where she's like, I do have a heart and it's black, and then later on it's a black heart on the page. Like there's certain like hinty things they're doing, and I'm kind of wondering, are they doing that to allow us to like make the connections that it's basically Billy Maximoff? In the comics, there's a whole thing that happens where whatever, I don't know what they're gonna do, but they end up both kids transfer bodies to different, because they end up getting killed or whatever, but their souls transfer to different bodies, and I'm kind of wondering if that's what they're going to do, is then they'll be aged up. They are technically not related anymore, but mentally they're the twins. But on the Witch's Road, what would he want most?
Wanda.
His mom back.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
That's my theory.
Okay.
The Ballad of the Witch's Road.
So beautiful.
I've probably listened to it like 75 times. It's on Spotify.
Is
and
it?
It is.
Like
yeah.
them singing it,
Yeah.
or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And it's an earworm, man. I can't get it out of my head.
Dude, yeah.
Pretty great. Also, I love Kitty, that she's involved from that 70s
I know,
show.
right?
It makes me wonder, is it truly her? Because how did it work, since
Yeah.
she's not a witch? Or is she a witch?
And just doesn't know it.
Or is she Audrey Plaza in disguise?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Audrey Plaza came in for like a hot minute and now she's gone. So it's like, wait, what?
Oh, she'll be back.
I hope so.
She has to be back.
She better be.
Indeed. So those are my thoughts there. I love the show, though. I'm really digging
Yeah.
it so far. I can't wait. But I do kind of have a feeling that Wanda is coming down the...
Shade, I gotta say, with us having discussions about this previously with like Acolyte and other shows on Disney Plus, the pacing of these 2 episodes and the fact that they put them out together was perfect.
Yeah.
Was so good. Like, okay,
Yeah.
we got Agatha back in the end of the first one. Okay, if they had just released that episode, it would have been such a blue ball kind of.
Yeah.
God, 45 minutes to get her back.
I
Like,
think
come
Marvel's
on.
good at that, because WandaVision, they did 2 episodes, because it wasn't until the end of the second episode that it was color.
Yeah.
And I think they were just like, well, if we dropped a black and white episode, made people wait a week, like, you might lose some people.
No,
there.
and that's-
you know what I mean. So I
that's
think
what I'm
sometimes
saying,
I think
yeah.
sometimes Marvel's smart enough to go like, we can't just do 1 episode.
No.
like you got to do.
But
2.
it feels like the Star Wars shows that we've been dealing with recently, especially Acolyte is obviously forefront of my mind because it's the most recent
fresh.
one.
Yeah.
Is that the pacing feels the opposite. They're trying to stretch it for some reason. It's just like there was 2 episodes in Acolyte that should have been 1 episode.
Yes.
Together.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's just like, it's so refreshing to get back to this, and it's just like, oh, okay, that was paced perfectly. Like, I know what to expect now going forward. I'm ready for this. I'm excited for this.
Yeah.
With the Acolyte, there was times where it was like, well, you even said it to me. Because
Yeah.
you went and saw it the night before, and then I didn't watch it until Friday when I had, my day off and everything. And you even said it. You're like, yeah, there was people worried that it was going to be the Disney Plus bullshit 30-minute episodes. No, they were full on like 45 minutes. And
Yeah.
I'm like, good.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Hopefully we get that for the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah. With WandaVision, I have a lot of hope, because it's
Yeah.
the people behind WandaVision, and WandaVision, I think, is probably the best Marvel show that's been. Not to say there's bad ones, but like I've loved all of them to one extent or another. But I do think that WandaVision's the standout for me. So
I loved WandaVision. It is honestly, I will say this is the only Disney Plus Marvel show that I've gone back and rewatched.
yeah, it's good. So
Out of all of them.
and then into the Penguin, I also watched the Penguin.
Did you? Okay,
did you
good.
by chance scan the QR code?
Dude, I fucking tried so much it would not scan.
Oh, okay.
Like I'd pause it and it would be blurry.
Yeah, it was. I was able to get it, and
I tried zooming in my camera, standing up. I got a 55-inch TV. I tried standing up and getting up close to it, and like just trying to catch it as the guy like the flyer walked past. Nope.
He held it. He held it in a way to where I'm like, they're doing that on purpose.
Yes.
So
I recognized instantly, but I did not scan it. I Googled it. I'm like, is it scannable? And it says it was. Like, all right, I'm going to try it. And then I tried it. I got frustrated. I stopped. And then I forgot to look up what it was.
So if you scan the QR code, it brings you to a website. It has a chat between 4 Riddler followers that
Okay.
you see. It's like on a green matrixy looking screen, like old DOS style,
Yeah.
whatever.
Like what we saw in the Batman.
Yeah, so one of them is Clockbreaker, and the 1s and 0 or O's and E are all numbers instead of letters. He says what's been put in motion can't be stopped, and then Rein It In is the name of this other one with X's at the. It's like fucking Xbox names. Arkham releases patients, and Blackgate is a mess. No one is really a prisoner there, not even our old pal Sal Maroni. And then Hold the Line 81 says people say that they want the truth, but they shield their eyes when we shine the light. And then Determinator says, let's make sure that they're not blinded again to the corruption, the killings, the Falcone power grab, which is a link. And if you click on that, it's a screenshot of is it Gotham? What's the name
The
of the
Gotham Gazette.
Is that what it is?
Gotham Post.
Oh,
Gotham
I guess
Gazette.
it doesn't say, but yes, it does. Gotham Gazette on the side there.
Yeah.
And it's a news article that says crime pays well. Heir to the Falcone crime family parties above the wreckage. And it's about the Falcone kid
Alberto.
partying and stuff. So, and then Hold the Line 81 again says, we start in the streets tonight at 9 p.m. Meet at the Metro outside Crown Point. And then Clockbreaker says, done and done. The revolution is just getting started. So, very interesting.
I would bet that's probably going to be a opening scene for the Batman, maybe?
Could be, yeah. But,
Dealing with the cleanup from the Riddler,
yeah. So, that's kind of interesting.
which is why he's not involved with what's going on in the Penguin, because they've already said Batman will not appear.
Yeah. I'm digging the show, though. It's only one episode, but I really enjoyed it. So,
I love the style of it and
Yeah.
everything, and I really did enjoy the story, and also one of the most unique and painful ways of torture I've ever seen. A garrote wire to the armpit.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Oh
That's great.
no, it's not great, Tad. Me and you have very different definitions of what the word "great" means.
Oh, good stuff, though. I'm enjoying it. I'm glad you guys watched Wanda. I definitely wanted to talk about those. Agatha. Wanda.
I mean,
Yes. Also, I will say I posted something on Reddit. I got a lot of upvotes, like 500. I said something along the lines of, who would have thought we'd see Aubrey Plaza lick Catherine Hahn's gash after saying that her heart beats for her, but here we are.
oh my god.
I am quite proud of that.
Oh, Tad.
I sent it to Hayden, too, made him laugh. All right.
Wow.
No,
That's
it-
what my wife says in the chat. Wow.
Hey, they said it would be the gayest Marvel show ever, so... Oh man, I love it. It's so good. I'm digging the show. And Aubrey Plaza, she's great, and Catherine Hahn's a goddess. So
They're both fantastic.
yeah, indeed. I'm digging it though. I'm liking Joe Locke as teen too. I was kind of
Yeah.
worried like that's the one that you really have to land because the rest is probably going to be fine. So I was a little bit worried going in, but he's killing it. So that's great. So. All right, let's jump on over to the news. The first one is a sad one. We have lost James Earl Jones. My opinion, the greatest voice in recorded history. I mean, he was up there in age. Can't say that he didn't live a long and full life.
Yeah.
So definitely sad, though.
Good night, sweet prince.
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones. What's your
Also, just
is it Vader for you, or is
it's-
there any like physical one of his where you're like that?
the only physical one that ever really comes to mind for him is there's a Harrison Ford Clear and Present Danger or Patriot game. I don't remember which
One of
one
them,
it is. It's
yeah.
one of them where he's in it. And I just remember being a kid watching it with my dad. I shouldn't have. I was too little. But I was watching it with my dad, and I'm like, that guy sounds really familiar. He's like, yeah, that's Darth Vader. And I'm like, Darth Vader's black? It's like, what? Like, and then I remember, like, later on, in like a couple years later, Lion King came out.
Yeah, Lion
And-
King.
And I'm like, and I that was probably my very first Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh,
yeah,
hey.
yeah.
that's Darth. I recognized his
Yeah.
voice as a kid.
Simba,
I mean, because that came out in '94, so I was
94,
8
yeah.
or 9 when it came
Yeah.
out.
Probably,
So,
family movies tend to come out around Christmas, so you probably
Yeah.
had your birthday. Would be my speculation. But yeah, for me, one that always resonates with me, it's always going to be Vader. But the one that outside of that though is Sandlot. I fucking love him in Sandlot, dude.
I didn't see that one until I was a teenager.
Okay,
so.
I just everything about that, like I don't know, he's wonderful though. Love James, and yeah, rest in peace to Mr. James Earl Jones. Next,
Clear and Present Danger came out the same year as Lion King.
oh okay,
But yeah, I saw that on video, and then so it must have been Mufasa as well as James as Darth. Ooh, say it again. But yeah, I just remember my dad telling me like, yeah, he's he's that guy. And I'm like, oh, really?
There's the Simpsons where Bleeding Gums Murphy dies.
Yeah.
And Lisa's talking to him in the cloud.
Yeah.
And then it pops up, I am your father.
Simba.
And then Simba. And then this is CNN. Because
Yeah.
those are like 3 iconic things that
Yeah.
he's done. He's like, get him on, guys. I'm trying to talk to Lisa here.
Sorry.
Recently, someone said that actually wasn't James Earl Jones, but that was Harry Shearer doing an impersonation. And it's like, that shook me. Because I'm like, that's
That was
not
really
him.
good.
But he was in the one Treehouse of Horror where all three stories he ended up voicing something. It was the Raven and one.
Yeah.
The one Maggie axes someone in the back and then pulls a binky out and goes, "This is a disturbing occurrence" or something. And it's James Earl. So yeah, he's Simpson stuff definitely resonates with me too. But yeah. Ultimately. He's really the magic for Darth Vader.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, go watch the video of David Prowse's voice from set. Him and his like Irish accent or Scottish accent.
Find me the survivors. Bring
me
me them alive.
alive.
It's like,
She. It's like, come on, man.
that's a terrible accent from me, but that's
It's not great.
It's not. Yeah. Spencer says, "Hey guys," in the chat. Hey, Spencer.
Hello, Spencer. Let's go ahead and jump on over. Next up, I don't know why this has ever been in doubt, but Matt Reeves confirms that Batman trilogy is still the plan. He's interviewed by Collider, and they asked, and he says, yes, that is still the plan. I mean, it's sticking very closely to the path we originally envisioned. So I don't know if there's been something recently where people are doubting if we're getting a third movie, because we know the second one's happening, but he was asked, and asked and answered. Next up, we've got Josh Brolin rumored turned down the role of Hal Jordan. So if the rumors we covered last episode, which is funny because it ended up being like lined up the same way to where like literally the slide that was Josh Brolin offered the role.
Yeah.
I was changing the text to saying Josh Brolin turned down the role. It was the same slide behind the scenes.
Nice.
But apparently if the rumor that we covered last episode is true, that means it would then be offered to Matthew McConaughey. And if he turned it down, it'd be offered to Mr. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor.
Kenobi.
But yeah, Josh Brolin.
Fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Josh Brolin turned it down, though. It sounds like.
So if Brolin turns it down, then it's.
All right.
And
Yeah.
then if he turns it down, then it's.
Yeah, because I remember saying like, if what world are we living in that Ewan McGregor's the third choice?
I
Like,
mean,
come on, man.
We're behind Josh Brolin and Matthew McConaughey. It's not exactly like nobody's here.
I know, but it's Obi-Wan Kenobi for Christ's sake.
I mean, you're gonna make me push the button again, Ted.
Uh,
Keep saying his name. It's like Beetlejuice. It summons it.
Say Obi-Wan 3 times and he appears behind you.
That's 3
fucking
times.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He appears behind you.
Hello there.
Hey, how come I don't have that button?
You don't? I thought you did. I thought I put on both of ours.
Oh, you didn't put it on mine.
Huh. Well, you'll have to send me a note on that one.
You're a monster. You know that.
I thought I put it on yours.
How?
So
wait.
Hello there.
It is there.
There you
Woohoo!
go, noob.
Yes.
Next up, James Cameron is set to direct a Hiroshima film.
Oh my god.
Also,
Wait, didn't he already do this? I saw this movie. It's Terminator 2. Isn't
Also,
it?
Spencer says reading Fire and Blood, watching Game of Thrones for the millionth time, playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and Fortnite with my sons. That's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, my wife. I didn't see hers.
Oh, yeah, I missed it
reading
too.
nothing, needing a 6 to 8 hour audiobook. Don't worry, I'll take care of that later. Watching Criminal Minds and Agatha all along, and then playing Dead by Daylight and Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Indeed. So,
Nice.
Mr. Cameron, this would be adapting the 2 books, The Last Train from Hiroshima and Ghosts of Hiroshima. Ghosts of Hiroshima is actually a book that's not even out yet. It's slated for release in August of 2025, which is going to be marking the 80-year anniversary of the bombing of Hiroshima. So that irritates me as a fan of World War II, and I've always been a fan of nuclear stuff. Like, not fan, like, whatever, but I've always been fascinated by nuclear stuff. So the fact that that book is probably done, but they're holding it off for another fucking almost year
Just
because
to have it
just
on the
for
anniversary?
the 80th. I'm like, you bastards! Give me that book.
I want it now.
Imagine if King did that. We're just, oh yeah, I got a Dark Tower book done. I'm going to hold on to it for a year and a half. Like,
Dude, we would go full fanboys and break into his complex and steal it.
get the manuscript.
I'll fake having cancer to get that.
Do you really want to break into Stephen King's house though? I feel like there's like things happening.
That's a good point.
Probably St. Bernards and
I
clowns.
like
and,
St. Bernards. I like clowns.
Well, vicious, evil. Oh, that's all St. Bernards. Never mind. So.
Hey, no. Don't you slander my dogs.
So the movie would focus on a man who survived Hiroshima and then got on a train, went to Nagasaki, and then was bombed and survived
Jeez.
there. Which, if I looked into it correctly, I believe there's somewhere in the realm of 20 to 40 people that happened to. So this would be following one of those people. Also, the big one, though, is this would be Cameron's first non-Avatar film that he directed since Titanic in 1997.
Good lord.
He has not directed a film not named Avatar since Titanic.
Is
been-
Avatar
he-
3 coming out this year or next year?
25.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, it could get to the point where we might even be looking at 2027 by the time we're talking about this Hiroshima movie. So
Yeah.
it might end up being a 30-year window of nothing but Avatar.
Wow.
So, I mean, obviously, he took some time off and did his own thing because he's one of the most successful directors, not named George
He
Lucas.
had
so
money.
He had a lot of money. So,
He has money now.
indeed. So that sounds pretty cool, though. I'm really excited for that. Not only to see Mr. Cameron, I do blame James for my obsession with nuclear weapons too, because the Terminator 2 scene.
Yeah.
I do believe that young,
The nuking of Los Angeles.
yeah, the tiny little tad that watched that for the first. I think that just sparked my mind in a way where I've just been fascinated with nuclear weapons ever since. So
Yeah.
I blame him. So yeah, him doing a Hiroshima thing, that's kind of like Christopher Nolan going, I'm doing an Oppenheimer movie. And Tad's like, yes. That's like tailor-made for me. And Christopher Nolan.
Suck it to my
Yeah,
veins!
it's like Christopher Nolan, Oppenheimer, which has always been a hero of mine historically, like together. It's like that's like
Match made in heaven.
tailor-made for Tad.
That's Tad squared.
Yes, indeed.
Dude, that's terrifying.
Next up, apparently Splinter Cell is getting an anime on Netflix.
Oh, sweet.
It is going to be starring Liev Schreiber as
Hey,
Sam Fisher. So
dude, he's got such a fucking good voice.
does have a great voice. I mean, he's no Michael Ironside, but
No, but Lee
outside-
Schreiber's the voice of Hard Knocks on HBO.
Oh.
The
He-
documentary.
he's-
I know you never watched it
he's
because
Cotton Weary from Scream
he's also
and Sabretooth.
Sabretooth, yeah.
And I still love him as the is it Michael Clark from Sum of All Fears. He's kind of the wet work, the guy that does all the dirty work.
I've still never seen Some of All Fears.
You haven't?
No.
Dude, you need to fix that, man.
I've still never seen
That-
I've seen so many clips of it.
I
but
know I am 100% like in the minority, but I think that's the best Jack Ryan movie for me.
Even
I'll-
with all the Harrison Ford
I'll
ones?
take it over Harrison Ford's. I love, and
Wow.
it's nuclear in nature, so that could be part of it. But
I wonder why, Tad.
so yeah, I'm so on this because anime is not really my thing, but there's the new Terminator anime on Netflix. I'm like, maybe I just need to try these, but I just don't like anime like the style. It's not like it's not like any kind of thing other than the styles just never appealed to me. I tried. My older cousin when I was younger got into Dragon Ball Z when it first came out, so I tried because like, oh, my cool cousin likes it. I'll try it, and I couldn't. And my brother got into Pokemon. I tried that. It's the art style of it just doesn't jive with me. But Terminator, Splinter Cell, maybe I gotta try.
You know why you don't like anime?
Why?
Because they don't draw them looking like humans. They draw them looking like cats.
Something, and then it's like the way they do the action, and like there's just stuff about it that just it's and I know that's the style, that's why people like it, but it's never been my thing. So next up we've got Scarlet Witch Corner. That's what I'm going to call it here.
All right.
So I've got a couple of news things here. First one is the rumor, the solo film that we already alluded to might be happening in the last couple episodes. The rumor now is that solo film for Wanda is being developed with Jack Schaefer and Megan McDonald writing. So Jack
Ooh.
Schaefer is the showrunner of WandaVision and Agatha. So
Excellent.
that would be a perfect person to take up the
Carry it on.
film.
Carry it down the road a little bit.
Yeah, indeed. So Jack was asked about it at the Agatha premiere, and she was, and when she was asked, she said she's keeping her fingers crossed for a Wanda film, but said that there's nothing else that she could say right now. So
Makes you think
That-
something's in the works.
that's not really a denial, right?
Well, I mean,
So-
it's also something where it's like, if they announced a Wanda film now, it's like, oh, okay, well, she comes back.
yeah,
You know, let's not spoil that yet.
yeah, indeed,
Let's not talk about that until after. Like,
yeah.
I wish I could kick some of these journalists.
I
Like, just stop.
I still don't know though if we're going to see her in Agatha. I know my theory is that Teen is Billy, and that's going to be part of
Yeah.
it. But I have a feeling if she does come back, it's going to be in the Vision series.
Mm.
But we even covered. Oh, I don't remember if we covered it. If I end up skipping over it, but there was one rumor that she's going to be in Vision, but that she won't be playing Wanda, but it'll be like a different version, like who
Alternate
knows?
reality or
Yeah,
something
kinda
like that.
thing,
I mean, we
like-
got the multiverse and everything.
Yeah, so we'll see. But then also the last one I have in this in the little Wanda corner here, Olsen has previously said that she was ready to move on from the character, and she said a lot of things that made a lot of us think, oh well, Wanda's done, because
Yeah.
she said a number of things that were very like, oh God, like
Close the door.
she's ready to move on to other things. But
Close the gate. Open the gate a little bit.
but recently she was asked, and she said, quote, "It's a character that I love going back to when there's a way to use her well. I think I've been really lucky that when I started, I was used really well. I think people didn't know what to do with her for a second there, but there's a good way. But if there's a good way to use her, I'm always happy to come back." So there's the door opening up again.
Yep.
So, and again, chances are she's already talked to Feige and
Oh, Feige's probably been like, no.
It's kind of like Robert Downey Jr., right? He didn't say a whole lot about Marvel, but then suddenly out of the blue, he was like, "Oh, I'd love to come back to Marvel." And then, fast
a
forward a
month
few
later-
months
yeah.
later, and it's like he's Victor Von Doom. It's like,
I see, sir.
so I can't.
Someone had a meeting with Feige we didn't hear about.
Yeah, and I kind of have a feeling this is the same deal here. So we'll definitely see. Next up, rumor is Destin Daniel Cretton is going to be directing Spider-Man 4. He is the Shang-Chi director.
Oh, okay.
He was also in line to direct Kang Dynasty when that was still a movie, but I don't know if he got bumped off the movie or if he left the movie when it ceased to be Kang's Dynasty. But he is now allegedly in talks
they
to direct
changed it.
Spider-Man 4.
Sorry, they changed it to the Russo brothers are doing the two Avengers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Doomsday is,
Yeah.
is the one that got
Doomsday and then Secret Wars.
Secret Wars. Yep. So I do think Destin would be a really cool director because I really love Shang-Chi.
Oh,
So
yeah.
him doing Spider-Man would be pretty fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
So love to hear that. Next up, let me make sure I got the right slide. I do not. Next up here, we got a rumor that Hawkeye Season 2 is in the works.
Okay.
There's been some bubblings about that, but this newest rumor also includes the fact that Haley Steinfeld would likely be more of the lead role than Jeremy Renner and having more screen time. So Kate Bishop would be a little bit bigger in the whole story. So that is not a bad thing. And also, I still have my suspicions that Young Avengers are well along their way. So that would go along with that. Next up, Punisher, just because I keep forgetting that Punisher is indeed confirmed to be in Daredevil Born Again. We have covered that a number of times. I think we keep forgetting
he was
it.
on the Comic-Con panel.
Yeah, I know,
So-
but it's one of those things I don't know why I keep forgetting that he's in it. But apparently, the rumor that's coming out now is that he is actually going to be playing a much bigger role in Season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. It sounds like his role in Season 1 will largely be there to set up what is going to come in Season 2. So
Okay.
that's pretty cool. Next article here. HBO's Harry Potter has its open casting call for its 3 leads. And reportedly, the casting call is what the rumor is saying. They're casting, or no, this isn't a rumor. This is what's being reported. The casting call is for children that will be ages 9 to 11 in April of 2025. Which is probably a good indicator that is when they intend to begin filming.
Yeah.
So, kind of cool. I know that it's more for you than it is for me, but
Yeah, I'm very excited for it because the movies, let's just be perfectly honest. Like, if you got the Dark Tower series, which is 7 books, 8 if you count the Wind Through the Keyhole, if you had your way, you would get 5,
Series.
6, 7
Yeah.
seasons of this to cover it in depth properly.
yeah.
Harry Potter's the same way. The movies are great. Don't get me wrong. I like
Yeah.
the movies, but there is
But they left a lot on the table.
There's
I
a
would
lot
assume.
left to be desired because there's a ton of characters that get cut for movie time and everything. And these are the kind of books where they're in depth. You see Harry going to class
Yeah.
and learning things and having lessons. You're
Yeah.
never going to have that in a movie.
yeah.
You
just
might in a TV show.
Yeah. Just like
So-
The Shining. Be a great modern day
Yeah.
5-7 episode. Show that long,
I mean-
drawn out winter.
You say that, but then The Crow fell flat on its face. So,
What?
modern retelling of a
Eh,
great movie. So,
yeah, I don't know. I still think if you got the right person. The problem is that Flanagan after Dr. Sleep would never do The Shining. But
Yeah.
that was my ultimate dream. Is imagine if Flanagan did The Shining.
Yeah.
Like, truthfully. All right. Next up, we've got Ian McKellen saying that The Hunt for Gollum, he believes, is now 2 movies. So I have lost all interest in this now.
oh boy.
Why can't they just fucking...
Let it lie.
Oh my! No, not even that. Like I was slightly intrigued by this project. I mean, they've apparently Viggo Mortensen, Orlando Bloom, a bunch of people have said they'd be willing to be involved. It takes place in a time that would still have all these people. But why the fuck would you make it 2 movies, man? It's like after
know.
the Hobbit stretched to 3, I gave up. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not. I watched the first one. I've never watched the other 2. But Ian said, well, all I know is that now that they called me up and said these films are going to happen, and they're mainly going to be about Gollum, and Andy Serkis, who plays Gollum, is going to direct, and there will be a script arriving sometime in the new year, and then I'll judge whether I want to go back. I'm told it's 2 films. I probably shouldn't say that. And then he laughs. But I haven't read the scripts, and I don't know what it is, and I don't even know where it'll be filmed. McKellen continued, but I would love to go back. I would love to go back to New Zealand, number 1. I also don't like the idea of anyone else playing Gandalf.
Yeah.
So that's totally Totally understandable,
Dude.
and I love hearing that too.
All right,
Like the
so-
ownership of a character is kind
Yeah.
of cool to see from an actor.
We're talking about Gandalf. I saw an interview with Sir Ian McKellen where someone was talking about the timing of X-Men and Lord of the
Oh
Rings.
yeah, I saw that.
Did you
one.
see that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah,
where
he was
both of those almost didn't happen
because of Mission Impossible 2.
because of Mission Impossible 2. But
the only bad Mission Impossible 2. Like that
Yeah.
series is legit, but the second one sucked.
but
So
imagine if they had Ian McKellen in it.
it wouldn't have helped.
Maybe it would have. You don't know.
I just rewatched it not too long ago, and it.
But I do know this is that I don't know who you think you are if you're not going to send Ian McKellen a script. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Although he wasn't on the map the same. I mean, he's a legendary actor, but
I
like
know.
he didn't have the same cachet as he did after X-Men and Lord of the Rings. But
still,
it's stupid. Yeah,
still,
for sure.
it's like, wait.
Oh, also, I did want to point out, I forgot to mention it with the Harry Potter one.
Yeah.
Gary Oldman recently was asked if he would be
He
interested.
would absolutely. He said I love Sirius. I would absolutely go back.
Well, he also said, I'll play Dumbledore if they want.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I saw an interview with him where he said
Oh,
that.
he would be so fucking good at Dumbledore.
I mean, he's Gary Oldman.
I mean, he'd also be good at the
He could-
door knocker on Dumbledore's door.
I was about to say, he could
so-
play the redheaded girl. I mean, he'd pull it off.
brown hair.
thought she was redhead.
Redheaded boy, brown-haired
Oh.
girl.
The hell do I know? I thought it was a redheaded chick.
You don't know anything. That's what
Exactly.
that's what we found out about you and Harry Potter.
Indeed. Next up, we got in the Resurrection news, apparently Donald Glover says the Lando movie is still alive.
What?
Last we talked about it, it sounded
It's
like that was
dead.
dead.
It's
So
been dead for a year, hasn't it?
But yeah, he said not only does it sound like it's moving forward, but he said, quote, I just want it to be fun. Like, as a Star Wars fan myself, I think it's important that there just needs to be more fun being had. It's very
Yes.
hard to have fun right now. It's tough because there's so many serious things happening, and those are the only things that can connect us weirdly. So I get why things are serious, but it's part of the human experience. I believe is we have a responsibility to have enjoyment, and I just don't feel like I just feel like we're lacking in that department. So not only does it sound like the movie's still happening, but it sounds like he is speaking exactly what I think should be said. Because yeah, I mean, dude,
Lighten the fuck up.
a fun ass Lando movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Lando Calrissian, Billy D.
Billy D. That's an episode
Uh,
of Scrubs, sir.
Is it?
It is. I've told you that before.
I've seen that clip a million times.
I know.
'cause it's Billy D. Williams. Next up, also in the Star Wars realm, a third Jedi game is in development. The Jedi Survivor,
Cool.
the Jedi Fallen Order. You need to check those out. I think you'd really dig them.
I played the first
Oh,
one.
I didn't know you had.
Yeah, I played the first one.
I bought the second one and started it, but then I got interrupted by other shit, so I still have that one to go back to at some point. But I'm really digging those games.
yeah,
so
I played the first one. I battled Darth Vader and got scared shitless
That
when he came out.
it was fucking terrifying.
that was terrifying.
and that's
yeah.
the way it should be
Yeah.
too. Like Vader.
Actually, Ted, you psychic son of a bitch.
So, Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order were the first two Cal Kestis games. Laura Miley, president of EA. Boo. We need a boo button that's like who is that? Boo yourself. What is? We just need like a sing. Oh, it's the IRS with Homer.
Oh, yeah.
Look, the IRS. Boo.
It pops out the window. Oh, boo yourself.
Boo yourself.
Star Wars Jedi Survivor is on sale on Steam right now, 60% off.
That's make it so number one. So she said over 40 million Star Wars fans have connected with Cal Kestis and the arc of becoming a powerful Jedi. Respawn is working hard to bring the final chapter of this thrilling story to players. The one thing I want to point out there, how many Star Wars video games have actually become a trilogy? There's a number of them that have kind of died off after one or two
Knights
games.
Old Republic had 2.
Yeah.
Battlefront had 2.
Yeah. Like
Battlefront had 2.
Like if you
there's 2 different versions of Battlefront.
yeah, exactly. So it's like if they actually made this
Force Unleashed had 2.
yeah, if they just made this a trilogy, you'd actually get the Star
Is that
Wars.
the first ever Star Wars trilogy video game?
I don't know about first because there's been a lot of like PC games and stuff over the years, but still, it's been a long time, seemingly since we got a trilogy of games. Next up, we got a visual one before we get to the main topic. We got our first look at some pirates from Skeleton Crew. I am gaga over this picture.
That's a wolf.
Co-creator Christopher Ford, which I figured you'd love that. But that's cool. That's the dude from the not the same dude, but it's the species from the Cantina.
Yeah.
Co-creator Christopher Ford said, with the era we're in, we're kind of getting to play with the lawless thing. The Empire is gone, and so we're playing with that part of the galaxy that has a resurgence of piracy. Ford said that pirates are talked about so much in Star Wars, people would call Han a pirate, and he'd be like, "Hey, how dare you?" And we've seen some awesome pirates in animated shows. So this is something where both executive producers Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are really excited to do more pirate stuff. In the photo, the pirate characters include Jael White as Gunter, which you all may recognize that as Urkel. That is Urkel.
Is it really?
It is. So he is playing Gunter, a pesky character, and the unsavory Vane, played by Marty Matilis, who gave Din Djarin and Greef Karga such a hard time on The Mandalorian. You see him on the left; he is very familiar from The Mandalorian. So yes,
Okay.
indeed. The guy on the left, he was like the pirate that fucked with them, and I don't even remember what
he
episode.
found
but-
out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, indeed. And then to the right of him is Brutus, voiced by Fred Tanzakor, played by Stephen O. Young, which that's your werewolf guy. And then Pax, played by Mike Estes, and Chalet, played by Don Solis. So a lot of that's pretty cool because like not only that, but the Gan, the three-eyed dude, that's an old school alien. The werewolf, like I just love that because it feels like there for a bit we were not seeing any classic aliens from the original trilogy. So to actually see some more getting trickled in is intriguing to me. So, and then I also have a second picture. Let me get it to where I can swap it out. And show you the second one that they released is Jude Law playing the character of Jod Non Nawood, played by Jude Law. And then in the background we can see KB, Wim, Fern, and Neil. Neil, I don't know how you say his name, which are the four main kids from Skeleton Crew. So
Nice.
that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to this quite a bit.
That comes
So,
out this year, right?
I
November?
is it or is it next year? I forget, man. I can't keep it straight. It's too much shit coming out. I feel like
First episode dates just says 2024.
okay, yeah, that one is the one that they've said 2024. So my suspicion, though, because I think they say like holidays 24, and my suspicion is it's gonna be like Christmas Eve. It's like one of
It's
those.
New Year's Eve, motherfuckers. Just put it on the last day of the
Yeah,
year.
exactly. Where they're like, it will come out this year, and it comes out the last day of the year. It's like you fucking bastards.
Sons of bitches.
All right, but that is it. We do want to leave plenty of time for the
I have one thing.
main topic. All right.
I don't have the official stuff like Tad does, but I Googled it just to be sure, and I see it on several different websites that I've heard the name of, comicbookmovie.com, Screen Rant, and then one that I'm not familiar with is Boy Genius Report, BGR.com. Have you ever heard of them?
Vaguely.
Okay. Original plan for Spider-Man 4. Did you hear about this?
I've heard so much Spider-Man shit. I don't know.
Apparently, Sony had an idea for the original plan for Spider-Man 4 was Spidey and Daredevil would team up to take on Kingpin, who had been elected mayor.
Yeah, we've had some allusions to him getting. I think that might be happening in Born Again that he's mayor. So,
That was apparently the original plan for Spider-Man 4.
well,
and
we've covered some rumors that that Sony wanted them to do another Spider-Man 4, but they would use all three Spider-Men again.
Yeah.
And Feige was like, "No, I'm not interested in that."
Yeah.
Like I'll bring them in for like Secret Wars and stuff, but I don't
want to.
I don't want
two
another
Spider-Mans in a row.
Yeah, I don't want another 3 Spider-Man movie. And Sony's
Yeah.
like, well, that's what we want. And like, so there's been a little bit of like back and forth as to like what's going to be involved.
So I wonder if
my
this is-
problem is though is that doesn't sound like Sony because that's a good idea.
Yeah, that's
So-
true. That's true. That's true.
That sounds
you make a valid point, sir.
more likely in my mind is like Kevin Feige's like maybe this is what we should do the Reds.
Sony wants the 3.
And Sony's like, no, we don't want your fucking Daredevil touching our Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like that sounds more like what would happen.
I will say, when I saw this, I mentioned it to my wife, and I said, dude, could you imagine the brutality of Daredevil with Tom Holland's Spider-Man?
Oh yeah.
Like, that would be interesting for him to see him react to it, because he's just so innocent. Like,
Yeah.
You know?
Is he as innocent now though? After
Now,
trying to murder Goblin and stuff, I'm like maybe he's
Now,
not,
though, maybe he's not. Maybe he's primed for a Daredevil team up.
Exactly. Maybe he's got. I mean, he'll always be Spider-Man, but I wonder if he'll be have a little bit more of an edge to him than Holland from the first movie.
A little bit more of a Batman-esque kind of.
Just not even that, because I think that's going too far. But I think there's a matter of there are Spider-Men where as he got a little bit older and experienced, there's a little bit of an edge to him. Not
we see
not
that,
crazy.
We see that in
but,
Across the Spider-Verse.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And not super crazy. But I wonder the one that's lost everything. He lost Aunt May. He lost all of his. Nobody knows who he is.
Did lose Uncle Ben.
Yeah, it's like all this stuff. It's
So.
just a matter of like maybe he's just a little bit less, sunshine and lollipops.
Yeah.
that he was. That's what happens, right? So yeah, I don't know if I think I vaguely heard something about it. But again, though, I do think there's been some rumors that Kingpin is going to be mayor in Daredevil Born
Oh
Again.
shit,
So
dude, that's crazy.
that's that's going to be interesting to see what comes of that. Let's go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my screen set up in a way that's going to allow me to see everything well.
I hate you so much for this.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and
Do
go
you have
on.
any idea how much pain this put me through?
Pain.
Yeah.
Suffering. I will say, I almost texted you last night. I'm like, why the fuck did you pick this topic? As I was...
Oh, you son of a bitch. Blame me. I would not have shown up today if you had sent that. I'd have been like, you know what? Fuck you. Do it yourself. Oh, that's so dastardly.
or tell you like something like, you know, why did you allow me to do this?
Why didn't you talk me out of this?
This was a little bit tougher. I mean, I wouldn't say tougher than I thought it would be. I knew this would be somewhat tough because it is kind of like if you were just picking one show, it's like, okay, I get a top 10 of any given show. But it's like,
do a genre. That's my thing. It's like if you had picked a genre, okay, that's fine. That's your rule with movies.
I think the problem with that though is like with TV, it's so. I don't feel like TV has as much as hard of like genre lines as movies. I know there are genres, but it's just a matter of like, I don't know. I think good TV is good TV, and like for so long, a lot of TV's kind of been lesser. So it's just like, I don't know. It's like I told you, there's a lot of stuff that like, there's shows I love that I just wouldn't have episodes from because it's like, I don't know, it's not in the same vein as like some of the stuff. So I do want to read. So John from Buffalo sent his list in too. I want to give you his preamble. And he says, as usual, my list contains no explanations. Here's my top 10 episodes without much research, pretty much off the top of my head. Then at the end of the thing, he did say, love the show, and then signed John from Buffalo. So thank you, John.
Thanks,
John.
John.
We'll definitely cover the list. I just want to get those two parts because they're not part of his list. And I wanted to get the intro and outro of his email covered first. So, yeah, so that was generally the premise, and I don't know why, but I was a little bit this was tough. But I don't know, there's something about this that is, maybe it is because it is a little bit more out of pocket for what we normally do, but this kind of excited me. And it's also interesting because I feel like our lists are probably going to be a little bit more different than any list we've done before, would be my guess. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, let's...
I will say, this does open the door that I can ask for top 10 movies of all time. I'm just saying, if you force me to do this, I can force you to do that.
You didn't send any honorable mentions. Did you have any?
I do have honorable
I figured
mentions.
you did.
I didn't want to send them. I just figured I'd read them off.
That's what I figured.
In no particular order, I have 2 episodes from Supernatural. One is The French Mistake, which is a genius idea for a show like Supernatural. They are blasted into the real world. So they're on the movie, the TV set of Supernatural.
So like, some Wes Craven stuff.
Some Wes Craven shit like that. And they're like, what the hell is a Jared Padalecki, which is one of their names? And he's like, apparently that's me. Since when are you Polish? You know, that kind of shit. And like, you'll find out that one of them.
That's pretty great.
It's so good. And then great. Like, the funniest thing, dude, I'm not even kidding you with this. One of them married an actress that was in like the early seasons. This is like season 6. And so, like, they go to his house and they see, like, he's like, you married her? And, like, he's all pissed off at it because they're brothers, you know. He's like, you married her? You're like, oh, I can't believe you. You know,
well, at least it's not like Dexter where the brother and sister were together.
Yeah,
in real life. Yeah. That would have been way more awkward.
And then the other episode of Supernatural is an iconic one. It's called Mystery Spot. It's where a creature puts a curse on the 2 brothers where one of them dies over and over again. Every time he dies... The other brother wakes up to Asia heat of the moment. So just constantly heat of the... And he wakes up and he had just watched his brother die.
Yeah.
Hit by a car, food poisoning, electrocuted, crushed. Dude, fucking Wile E. Coyote crushed by a piano kind of shit. It's got some humor to it, but it's also really kind of dark because it's just like... You find out partway through the episode that he's watched his brother die like 500 times.
It's like that What If Doctor Strange episode. It's
just
like,
constantly dying, right?
Yeah, that's not Kenny we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly. And then I have an episode of Daredevil, New Napkin, Season 3, Episode 13. The last episode, right, of Daredevil?
Sounds right. 313 would probably
be. It's the one where he beats Kingpin, which is just... takes his mask off, says you'll keep my secret or I'm going after Vanessa kind of thing and everything.
Yeah, I need to rewatch that show, man.
That whole episode is so good.
I need to rewatch that show.
I do too.
It's been on my radar for a while, but I need to dive
I do too, but I'm trying to hold off because I know as soon as I watch the 3 episodes, which is only 20, 30 episodes, I'm going to want more and I'm going to have to wait and I'm not wanting to wait. So yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
And then I do have one episode of Yellowstone, Cigarettes, Whiskey, and Meadow and You, Season 5, Episode 6. The simplicity of this episode where they're just cowboying the whole episode, and then the one friend of John passes away in his sleep.
Oh, okay.
There's great scenes with Rip and Beth.
Yeah.
John dealing with the loss of his friend, and then comforting the widow and everything like that. It's such an impactful episode, but also it's just like one of the only episodes where shit doesn't go sideways.
Yeah.
Nothing really seems like it's wrong with like that part of it. There's other plot lines and stuff going on, but that one is just pure beauty to see like the American cowboy dream kind of still living and everything.
Yeah.
And then my last one, Ted Lasso, Sunflowers, Season 3, Episode 6. It's Amsterdam, where they go to Amsterdam and lose the friendly.
I was going to say, I remember the name of the episode, and so I remember it jumping out at me because it's probably the only episode I know the name of.
Yeah.
So I remember it having an impact on me for sure.
Rebecca meeting that guy after falling in the canal. Jamie and Roy Kent finally connect.
Yeah.
Ted goes off on his own and discovers total football.
Yeah.
Invents total football and everything. The team arguing about what they're gonna do. And everything.
Yeah. I remember that. That's a good
one.
one.
Oh shit! I just spaced on his name. The assistant to Rebecca. I just spaced on his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
Taking the Kit Boy and going off to a jazz lounge.
Yeah.
He thinks it's going to be like some weird sex thing.
Yeah.
Just hilarity and heartwarming. It's
Leslie.
Leslie, thank you. One of the best episodes of
I was like,
Ted
I knew it was
Lasso.
like an emasculating name
Yes.
where it's just like, what?
And I didn't realize this. I probably should have known this. But I did not realize that the actress who plays his wife is his real wife in real life.
Oh, really?
They're really married.
I didn't
So
know that.
like the whole scene with them at Christmas where they're in their house, that's a married couple.
Yeah.
It's so real.
Kind of like a Quiet Place.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, John didn't send any honorable mentions, so I have one I'm not going to mention as an honorable mention, but it's one that I luckily was able to pull off my list because I didn't realize it was a two-parter. Twilight of the Apprentice from Rebels. I literally Googled it.
Oh my god, I forgot Rebels.
I completely like I was just Googling it to figure out what episode is it because I want to do season whatever, episode whatever, and I went and it said like episodes 21 and 22, and I'm like, wait, what? And I went and looked. Apparently they did like a 1 hour thing, but it's still considered 2 episodes. So I'm like, maybe a loophole. But my list was getting to the point where I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna narrow this down. So that one I was able to just like, okay, cool, it's 2 episodes.
I can't put it on.
I can pull it off. But that was that one. So I want to mention it that was on my list, but I had to pull it off.
I forgot Rebels, sir.
Yeah,
I did. I completely forgot Rebels.
It ended up working out for me though because there was another episode that I was brokenhearted that I didn't have on my list. It was then able to go on my list, so worked out. My other honorable mentions: The Reigns of Castamere, Game of Thrones episode 3, episode 9 of season 3. Probably one of the most iconic episodes of the show.
Yeah.
Next one is Connor's Wedding from Succession, season 4, episode 3. This episode is just one of those ones where you kind of don't think media can do certain things to you, but the way they did this episode, like there was like as much confusion and mayhem for the audience as there was for the characters.
Yeah.
And it's just a masterful thing because it's just one of those things that's like you don't think they'd be able to like trick you to be as confused as the characters are because you're kind of all seeing, right?
Yeah,
but
the audience.
They just did in a way. And I'm not going to say too much, but because I think we're spoiler free. We can do whatever we want, or not spoiler free. We're free to talk spoilers.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just there's a massive thing that happens in this episode, and they play it in a way to where it's like you as the audience don't know if it's real. There's so much so many mind games in that show. They're like, did something really happen here? And the whole almost the entire episode, it feels like you're fucking confused, and it's just genius.
Yeah.
And then my next one of my honorable mentions, Abyssinia Henry from MASH, season 3, episode 24.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the iconic death of Henry Blake.
Yeah.
Just crusher of an episode. I mean, and this is back in the 70s.
It's so heartfelt, like throughout the episode, like the goodbyes and everything, and then that scene with Radar at the end.
Yeah, just it's crushing, man. And that one, that's huge. And then my last honorable mention is one called Middle Ground from The Wire, season 3, episode 11. I've talked about this one before over one of the two podcasts. There's two characters that are very, very close, and they both betrayed each other, and they're both at like this thing together, and like both of them know they've betrayed each other, but the other doesn't know. And so it's like the best subtext I've ever seen because they're just talking like super like you and I would, but like me not knowing you betrayed me and you not knowing I betrayed you at the same time. It's just it's genius. And then like a big event happens at the end of it's just killer episode. So that's my honorable mentions. So let's go ahead and dive on into our 10 here. So the first, I'll hit John first. His number 10 is Take Back the Falls, and this is from Gravity Falls, season 2, episode 20. Don't have a lot of context. Again, he says he sent it with no context, and he said it was.
Do you just want to do his whole list? Then we can do ours.
No, we can just bounce it through number wise. So, let's start with you. My episodal guests first, right?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, so let's see. You're number 10. Or actually, I got to remember. Sorry, I should have prepped this.
No worries. Do you want me to say it? Or wait?
Let me just make sure your picture is right. That is not right. Let me find your picture. I think your list is backwards the way I put it in. That's my fault. Let me get to it. Come on. Oh, motherfucker. There we go. All right. Go ahead and hit yours, number 10.
My number 10 is Heart of Ice from Batman the Animated Series, season 1, episode 14. The reason this is on my list, one, it's a great episode. I mean, is there really a bad episode of Batman the Animated Series?
I mean, you would say no.
I would say no. Maybe some of the later season stuff when they changed the style.
They did that? I forgot.
Yeah, they changed it to match the Adventures of Superman.
Oh, okay.
Where they started looking a little bit more.
Oh, X-Men. I was going to say, I just watched something that did something very similar where they changed it right toward the end. It was X-Men animated series. Like,
yeah.
The fuck did you do?
Exactly. It's late 90s where they just decided, like, okay, let's change it.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Look at what they've done to my boy, and everything. So, yeah, that one.
So I'm assuming this is Freeze oriented. I don't know these enough.
This is Freeze's origin story.
Okay.
This is iconic because I wanted to go read up just because I didn't want to speak out of my ass. I know the story, but I've never actually like seen an interview or I just kind of heard it, So I actually did my homework on it. The origin story of Freeze before was he was just a villain. He was just an everyday Batman villain and everything. Paul Dini wrote the episode. I think that's his name. Dini is his last name for sure, but he wrote the episode and changed it to the tragic backstory. It became so popular that I think within 5 years, DC had released comics to redo the origin story for Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
That he has the tragic backstory. It is him doing it to save his wife.
Yeah.
And that's
what's his wife's name?
Nora.
Yeah, it's like kind of vaguely. I was like, well, it's not a weird name, but it's not.
No, yeah, it's not a typical.
It's not Stacy.
Not Jessica. Yeah, exactly. No, he's doing it all to save Nora, who has a disease that cannot be cured, and so he develops cryogenic freezing to store her until a cure is found. The company in this episode, the company CEO comes in and is like, "No, we're shutting it down," and he kicks him into a table and the chemicals spill on him, causing him to have the side effect, the condition where his body can't exist except in sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah.
The change of that, the moral implications of that with Batman, where he's just trying to, save his wife and everything like that, is beautiful. It's well done in so many different things.
Still needs to be a movie.
Absolutely, it does. Unfortunately, we'll never see that because Matt Reeves is doing Grounded and shit. No, I'm just kidding.
There's another Batman coming, sir.
I mean, there is another Batman. That's what I'm saying. I'm excited for that one now too.
Yeah,
a lot. But so that's where the reason why that's on my list is because it's so good, writing wise, and performance wise. Maybe not performance, but writing wise at least.
Yeah,
the fans fell in love with it. The DC that's been around already for 60 years. From the 30s to the 90s, went, you know what? Yeah, we'll change this character's origin story to that.
Yeah.
That's That's amazing.
And the thing is they did that again because like Harley Quinn didn't exist before that.
No,
show.
Harley Quinn
So-
became a comic book character after her introduction in the animated
and
series.
she's obviously a huge character.
one
She's-
of the most popular characters in DC.
yeah, it's just wild.
I'm sorry.
In a
I
realm
think
of
she's
in a realm of like comic books, like something that's
Yeah.
been around for decades and decades, it's one of those things that's like you're never gonna add to it in a meaningful
Yeah.
way, especially if you're not a comic book. If you're a TV show,
Yeah.
So to do that once is incredible, but
I
to
mean,
do it more than that is nuts. Like,
she has the same number of movies as Green Lantern does.
yeah.
A TV
Wait.
show.
Green Lantern had a movie.
You know what? Unpopular opinion. I don't hate that movie. I don't. It's not the best fucking movie ever,
Yeah,
but the hate that it gets, I feel, is unjustified. Maybe that's a topic for another day. Top 10 underappreciated film projects. That's shit.
Oh man. So yeah, good stuff. Also pretty early in the show too.
Season 1.
Yeah,
episode 14.
season 1. That's awesome. All right, so let me get mine up here. My number 10 is Pine Barrens. It is The Sopranos season 3 episode 11. There's a number of Sopranos episodes I thought about. There's some that I may even like better as like an artistic fashion, but this episode just feels to me like the perfect encapsulation of this show, because I think what a lot of people don't think about with The Sopranos, and I've been thinking about it a lot with the Penguin, because they keep saying like, oh, it's Batman meets The Sopranos, and it's like the only thing I've been wondering going in, because The Sopranos is serious to an extent. It's a mob thing and it's a drama, but there is such a comedic element to this
Oh, yeah.
show. And I just like, and this episode is the best. Like these two characters go to do a pickup for someone to pick up some money that is owed. The guy's sick, so they go to do it for him. It ends up escalating to where they end up like shooting or stabbing this guy, and so they, it's a whole thing where it's like it's a Russian, or it's an Eastern European. It's connected to the Russian gangsters.
Okay.
And so they're like freaking out, and like, Tony tells them like, you need to just go get him fucking disappeared. Like, I'm trying to do a deal with the Russians right now, like whatever. And then he ends up like finding out that the guy was with the Interior Ministry, and he killed like 30 something Chechen rebels. Like he's like this fucking commando
War criminal kind of.
He's like this. Well, he's just this badass.
Oh, okay. He's just a badass.
And they think he's dead, and they get out there into the wilderness, and he ends up still being alive.
Oh, God.
So they want to like try to get him to dig the thing, and then he eventually starts fighting them and shit. And then he runs. They shoot him at one point. You see him get hit in the head, but then you don't see him the rest of the episode. They can't find his body.
Oh,
and
God.
the rest of the show they never paid it off. So it's like we don't know if that dude actually. But the rest of the episodes, these two that kind of have friction with each other. Like one of them loses his fucking loafers, so he's got no shoes out in the middle of the fucking snowy Pine Barrens
Yeah.
in New Jersey. They lose their car, like, and it's just kind of this whole and there's a lot of humor involved, but it's just one of the funniest episodes. But it's also just a great self-contained episode that's not really a whole lot going. A lot of humor
Some
in it.
of
and
the
it's just-
best episodes are those ones
Yeah.
where it's like they don't advance the plot any, but this is such a great episode.
Oh yeah, and this is widely regarded probably one of the better episodes of the show. I like there's some that I like as a nerdy like the artistry of some of the certain episodes I maybe like better, but this is just like the perfect encapsulation of like it captures the humor of the show, the
Yeah.
seriousness of the show, and then it's just fun characters in a really shitty situation. So, yeah, that's my number 10. Let's go on over to number 9. I also got to figure out the slides, exactly how it's working here.
Okay.
I just want to check.
Just tell me when.
Yeah, let me do John's number 9 is The Rescue, Mandalorian season 2 episode 8.
Okay.
So that one might be appearing later. So that's his number 9. So on yours, I want to just test how this picture thing works. Let me just see. All right. Yeah, that doesn't. All right. So it does. So I'm gonna have to go like that, or yeah. Sorry, we haven't done this with.
New format. Yep.
Well, no, and the pictures. I always forget how I have to do the pictures to. So yours is on the screen now,
Okay.
but I do need to find your.
Yeah,
the-
so
the
while you find the
picture
picture,
for it.
my number 9 is The Box. It's Brooklyn Nine-Nine Season 5, Episode 14, which is a
All right,
self-contained episode where Jake has asks for a dentist to come in the questioning and question him about the murder of his partner. He knows that he did it. He doesn't have any proof that he did it, so he has to get a confession kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Holt is getting ready to leave. Captain Holt is getting ready to leave to go to the opera with his husband and decides to stay and help Jake because it's been a while since he's broken someone or something along those lines. And just the dentist the actor who plays him is amazing. He's also in a few episodes of Supernatural. That's where I also know him from. He's he's one of those he's that guy, you know, kind of things. He's in a bunch of stuff, and hilarity ensues. Holt and Jake get pitted against each other at one point by this dentist and everything, and then the payoff at the end is just so good.
I will say with this, after I got my list solidified, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to add anything else. I went and looked like, what's considered like greatest episodes of all time of TV in general.
Yeah.
Like, nothing, whatever.
Yeah.
This one actually popped up on a number of lists.
It's so good. It's so good.
I need to rewatch this whole show. I've only seen it once.
It's one of those ones where also it's like even it happens in like serious legal dramas. It's like, you know, like or like Criminal Minds, you know, those like criminal shows and stuff. SVU is a big one. I used to watch Law and Order SVU all the time. There's a lot of episodes where the bad guy doesn't exactly get the just dessert that he's supposed to, like the justice isn't served.
Yeah.
Or we don't know if the justice is going to be... It's a rich guy, so is he going to actually serve all the time and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
So to see this one, to see Jake get a win and everything like that, it was just... Oh, damn! You know,
Yeah.
kind of...
Is Cheddar in it?
I don't think... No, Cheddar's not in it. He's only ever in the mostly in the heist episodes.
Cheddar is a glorious bitch, though.
This isn't Cheddar. This is some common bitch.
Yeah, I love Cheddar. That's great. Yeah, I do need to rewatch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's been a number of years since I watch it. I've only seen it the one time.
I love it. It's such a great show.
All right, so this is how I'm going to do this then. So now as I move over to mine, your picture will drop off so that I can change yours before your next one, I guess, if
Gotcha.
that makes sense. So my number 9 is called On the Beach, and it is ER's eighth season's 21st episode. So I haven't finished ER. It's a long show, and I kind of fell off of it. But this is, you'll recognize the actor as Goose from Top Gun.
Oh, okay.
But he's kind of the main character. You know, early on it was him and George Clooney. By this point, George Clooney became a fucking A-list celebrity and off the back of ER, and then went and left the show and did his own thing, right?
Yeah.
Became one of the biggest stars of the 90s. But this guy stuck around, and he kind of became like the de facto main guy. There were some other people, but they kind of cycled in and out. He ended up being like the main character throughout. I don't remember when it was, if it was the 7th season, but somewhere a little ways before this, you end up finding out that he's got a brain tumor. He's got brain cancer.
Oh.
So this, though, is the episode where he's now moved out of Chicago and he goes back to Hawaii. I believe that's where he grew up because his dad was a naval guy. And this is the last episode for him. He's there with his young family. I got the picture up there of him holding his youngest. And then his wife is with them. He's got a teenage daughter, which is being a teenager. All the while he knows he's basically in his final days. Just a brutal episode, like emotionally.
Yeah.
Like it's like this episode crushed me in a way that I didn't know that this show could. I mean, the show does a lot. It's ER, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be like the old guy that brings his old wife that's got a cough and she ends up fucking dying. In the course of the episode, it just destroys you a little bit. But this is like on the level of like Green Mile, Old
You know
Yeller,
this
like
guy.
this. Yeah, you've spent 8 seasons with this being kind of your main guy. So, and then to like have like his daughter being a teenager to him about shit, and it's like, does this?
So she doesn't know.
She does, but like it's still she's a teen. I think she's trying to like cope with it and stuff. So, and it's just it's a sad episode, but it's I don't know. And you know me, I don't have a heart, but
It's true you don't.
but this episode, and it's a little bit.
You were probably cheering for the cancer.
And it's tough, and this show ended up going on for a long time. So I think they ended
Isn't
up.
it still going?
No, it ended I think it ended in like the Obama administration, though. I want to say it went.
2009, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so I was like, I think it went into like the Obama era because everyone thinks like, oh, ER, that came out in like the late '90s, like whatever. But no, it went on forever. So it eventually became a thing where like actors cycled in and out. Like it's kind of like I don't know what other shows do that, but like where it's like after a while, like new people come in, then over time they become like the veteran of the show.
Yeah,
and then, like,
Law and Order SVU.
shows do that all the time, like long running shows. This kind of, I think, does the same thing. But brutal episode, definitely a heartbreaking one for sure. So let's see. So we are going up to number 8. Let me get your number 8 is. Oops, god dang thing. Get over to your picture thing. Let me find it. I put these in order. I numbered them 1 through 10, and they are in absolutely random order. So
jeez.
I don't know why it did this, but
It doesn't like you.
Let's see. You're number 8. All right. So, and then let me get my picture off. There we go. Let's go ahead to your number 8 first of all for John. He's got On the Run. Which is an episode from What We Do in the Shadows, the Taika Waititi show, season 2, episode 6, and then he put as a descriptor Jackie Daytona episode. I've never watched that show, so I don't know. I know it's a vampire show, but for anyone that might be listening that actually knows that show, that might give you a little bit of a clue as to what they're talking about there. So, all right, going on over then to your number 8, it is.
The Mandalorian, Chapter 13, The Jedi, Season 2, Episode 5. Kind of a long title. That's how they...
I cut the chapters out.
Okay, that's how they put it.
I know,
so.
I know. And they do. It's in the episode. Like, that's the title card. Will say, like, chapter, whatever.
Chapter, yeah.
But I'm always squeezing for room on the screen here, so I was... And in fact...
Understand.
There may be... I mean, the animated series down below is TAM, so there might be another one on your list that was abbreviated for... the sake of space.
Understandable. There's a few that are a little bit long. So, this is the episode where we see Ahsoka.
Yeah, big episode.
I can't not have Ahsoka Tano's debut in live action
Plus,
not on my
a
list.
Thrawn name drop.
Thrawn name
in
drop,
live action,
amazing action and everything. It's such a good episode.
Bruce Lee's daughter as Morgan Elsbeth.
Exactly. It's such a good episode.
Yeah, it really is.
And then to see Rosario Dawson fucking nail it as Ahsoka Tano.
Did that one have I just blanked on his name. From Alien or Aliens. And Kyle Reese. Was he in that episode? Was that the episode with him?
I don't think so.
Michael Biehn.
I don't think this is the one with Michael Biehn.
It isn't? Okay. I
don't think so.
I was thinking it was for some reason.
Maybe it is. It might be. I don't know.
All right.
It's Ahsoka. That's the reason why it's on my list. I mean,
and
this is
see her
this
in
is
live
Ahsoka
action.
to see her in live action. You know, like, yes, I forgot Rebels, and there might have been an episode or two of Rebels somewhere on my honorable mentions or my list if I had remembered. But I doubt it would be higher than this episode. To see Ahsoka in live action is, oh my god, dude! I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. Those white lightsabers and everything, that's Ahsoka. So
yeah,
absolutely amazing episode too.
All right, let me find my slide. Okay, I wasn't cutting you off. I just want to get my slide shit ready. I should have been doing that already, but
that's okay.
Especially
that's basically it for me for this episode. There's not much else to it aside from the Thrawn name drop at the end, which was obviously huge for me and you because that's an expanded universe character. Again, he was in Rebels, which was amazing to see.
Which did make him canon, but there is always that aspect to you where, like,
of live action.
It's like, it's a cartoon.
Yeah, let's get the
suddenly,
live action.
Suddenly it's like, oh my god, I'm seeing Ahsoka Tano on screen in live action, and she's name dropping Thrawn, and it's like the implications too. It's like, wait a minute, Thrawn, so she's looking for Ezra. Like, there was just a cascade of things.
There's so many emotions and everything mixed in with this one. So
yeah, and we knew that Rosario was cast as Ahsoka.
Yep.
We just didn't know exactly when it would be. I even remember you and I speculating because it was like when they announced the directors, I'm like, wait, so Dave Filoni's directing episodes X and Y. One of those two is going to be Ahsoka's because there's no way he's going to let that be someone else.
And it was.
It was. Yeah. What episode did you say it was?
Season 2, episode 5.
Episode 5. I think he directed 1 and 5 that season.
Yeah.
So it was like, I don't know if they'll start with her too. That felt like, I'm like, it's probably 5. So I remember kind of circling that where it's like,
and it was.
It turned out to be. Because can you imagine if it ended up being some other director for the Ahsoka's first live action? Like, there's no way.
It'd be so wrong.
There's no way.
So wrong.
I guess let's go ahead over to my number. Or I'm sorry, we already did we already did John's number 8, so we're on my number 8, and this is actually going to reveal one of yours. And let's see, it's your number. Oh, did it not work right?
My number 5. Yeah, it's over there on the left side.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, there we go. And it is The Rescue, which
Yeah.
John already
Hey,
mentioned on his. So
Both my Mandalorian episodes, right there.
all three of us ended up with this on our list,
Yeah.
so that's pretty cool. This one, I mean, it's the Luke Skywalker episode.
I mean, same things that I just said about Ahsoka. I get fucking Luke Skywalker with a
Yeah.
lightsaber actually hauling ass down a hallway, fucking up droids.
Yeah,
Like,
and they built
hell
that.
yeah.
They built that whole episode to just show those droids as formidable as they are. Right, they're pretty much unstoppable.
And Luke walks through them like they're fucking butter.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I threw it on screen. I'm going to pull your picture down so I can mess with it. But even what I put on the screen, is kind of one of those things too, where it's like that. You can't overlook that scene. You know, the removing the mask of Din Djarin.
Oh no, that's the other thing is there's so many things that go on aside from just Luke showing up.
Yeah, it's a great episode. There's a lot of heart to the episode, and yeah, I mean, just that last moment. I mean, and also I still point to the fact that the way that they like revealed that was genius. Like it was just done in phases where it almost lets you it's like when you're PTSD and you've got to like slowly come to terms with something. It's like first it's an X-wing, then you see a hooded figure. Then you see a hooded figure with a lightsaber, but it's black and white, so you can't tell the color.
Then you see a hooded figure with a glove.
Then you see I think the glove and the green at the same time. You finally see it in color, and it's like that's a green, that's a glove, and then at one point you see his belt, and it's like they build it up to the point, and I'm getting chills because it's like
It's Luke.
It's,
oh my god, it is Luke.
yeah, because it's like the whole time you're like, I can't hope it's Luke. It's going to be
Yeah.
someone else. Like, is it Kyle Katarn? Like, are they pulling
Yeah.
like someone out of the books? Like, but then as it became more and more evident, it's like, oh my fucking god, this is Luke
This is
Skywalker.
Luke. And then he pulls the hood down, and he looked great.
Yeah,
Like the de-aging and everything was fantastic.
Yeah.
No, actually, it was a double, wasn't it?
both.
It was.
There was a body double, and then they did the face CG stuff.
Yeah. So it was. It's so good. Also, we think the conclusion of Grogu for a bit.
Yeah,
Like there was speculations that Grogu was done with the Mandalorian. Now it's the Mandalorian show. He's going to go off on his own, and Grogu
yeah,
just the 2 seasons with him, and there's the rescue, and he's
Yeah.
off with his family, his people, and
Yeah.
everything, and there he goes. And now we're going to get Din to go off with his Mandalorian thing and go on bounty hunting, and so there was a lot to unpack from this episode that you're like, that's it, bye Grogu,
yeah.
see ya, never going to see you again.
And they're cowards.
They should have.
They should have not brought him back in Boba Fett. That was fucking retarded. That was the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Why would you pull? I mean, what about all the Mandalorian people that didn't watch Boba
Didn't
Fett?
want to watch Boba Fett,
and they
yeah.
come into season 3, and it's like, wait, why is he back?
Wait,
you know?
what?
But also, I think they're cowards because they should have kept that reunion till closer to the end of season 3. And I know a lot of people would have been angry at that, not to have him through most of
Yeah.
the season. But dude, have some courage, man. Let that separation actually mean something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love all of it. I really
Yeah.
do. But that was just part of me where it's like, have some guts. Because if it was
See,
like
yeah.
season 3, episode 7 or something like that, before you finally saw him back, how meaningful would that have been? You've gone almost a whole
You
season
gotta
without
build,
him.
well,
Like,
it's like a professional wrestling. You watched professional wrestling back in the day. I still watch it. It's one of those things where you have to build up a story. You
Yeah.
can't just throw 2 people into a match at a pay-per-view and be like, go put on a good show. They got to have a story to tell. And it's the same thing here with like television shows. Is you have to build that story
yeah.
in order to have a payoff. If you don't give it enough time to breathe and build the tension or build the drama or build
Yeah.
the will they, won't they. We talked about this on our other podcast. Is
Yeah.
that's a classic TV
You
trope.
can't do a payoff if there's no setup.
If there's no exactly.
And anticipation, and the will they won't they thing. It's like the only reason that works is because you let people fucking twist in the wind
for seasons,
for multiple
for
seasons.
years sometimes.
But I truly believe that from the top it was a Disney thing where it's like marketing wise, we can't afford not to have him on screen. Which
all the people were seeing the cells of the Grogu dolls, like the one behind you, and just like,
yeah.
we can't have that gone for a year. I'll go bankrupt.
Yeah, and that's sad. I really hope that's not the reason. But there's a cynical part of me that worries that is the reason. Is they're terrified of losing like whatever.
Yeah.
Even just the memes. I mean, you can't discount the fact that memes actually move the needle in a lot
It
of
does.
ways. So, and I mean, it's all because dude, there's sometimes with like Baby Yoda that I'm like, they did that just to have a meme. Like when he's got the fucking cup of coffee, I know it's soup or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's like, you telling me they didn't do that on purpose?
No, of
They
course
knew-
not.
they
Ted.
knew-
Of course
they
not,
knew
Tad.
full well.
No.
Or when Ted Lasso punches him in the
Yeah.
bag. Oh, what a monster.
I know, he's such a monster.
All right. So next up is let me drop my picture off the slide before I move it up here. Your number 7. I'm sorry. Let me do John's first. I keep
Yes.
forgetting. So his number 7 is Everyone's Waiting, which is 6 Feet Under, season 5, episode 12, and it is the finale. I've always heard good things about that show, but I've never watched it.
I haven't either.
I know it's like a funeral home or something like that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I don't know if it's supposed to be spooky or anything, but
you can hope, right?
I mean, that's what I would assume. But I mean, I saw Hill House, and that had funeral parlor, and
Sure
there
did.
was some shenanigans going on there.
Indeed.
But that was his pick for number 7, and your number 7 is,
The pilot of Supernatural, season 1, episode 1.
which has got to be the most common name for television episodes.
Pilot.
Pilot. I think
Yeah.
almost every show calls their first
Yeah.
episode pilot. So
So we got our young brothers here on the screen, young Dean and Sam. Great start to a series. Draws you in instantly with the death of their mother in a very, very supernatural kind of way. They find her on the ceiling of Sam's room. He's a baby.
So the pilot's good though.
The
'Cause
pilot
that's
is
the
amazing.
Because that's the thing is there's so many shows that just struggle
Nope.
at first.
Nope.
So when I saw a pilot on here, I was like, oh wow, like because
They fucking nail it, dude. They tell you what kind of a show this is. And this is Supernatural Eric Kripke. Supernatural is created by and ran by Eric Kripke.
yeah, the guy
But-
from The Boys now.
Yeah, The Boys. But he was involved heavily. I don't know when his involvement tapered off, but it started being more, I want to do something else. He had 5 seasons planned. This show went for 15
Yeah.
and struggled with the ending during COVID, trying to get it filmed and everything like that. So
Yeah.
a lot of people make fun of later seasons that gets a little campy and stuff like that. It's all still good, but season 1, episode 1 sets up that we are going to get 2 brothers hunting monsters. And it is going to be not goofy. It is going to have humor, but it is going to be scary. And so their mother dies in like the first 2 minutes of the episode. And so their dad raises them to hunt things. But Sam decides to leave the life and go off to college. I think it's Stanford. He's going to college. Dean, the one in the foreground? Yeah, foreground, shows up at his house unexpected and says, Dad's been gone on a hunting trip and I haven't heard from him in a few days. We need to go find him. And that's the episode. Like,
Yeah.
they go and do a hunt for a ghost, and it's a classic ghost too. You've heard of this one, the lady in white on the side of the road,
Yeah.
where unfaithful men pick her up and then she kills them.
Yeah.
That's what they do for episode 1.
Yeah.
It's such a good episode to start off the series. I did the same thing that you did, like look up top episodes of all time. But I also did, after I finished my list, and I'm like, okay, these are the shows that are
Show
on my list.
specific, yeah.
I looked this up. This is on almost every single Supernatural top 10.
Yeah.
That just tells you how strong of an episode it is.
Yeah.
Because like you said, a lot of times pilots are pretty weak sometimes.
Yeah. I would say the only exception I would say is I will say they suck a lot more for sitcoms. I think sometimes when you get into the drama side or sci-fi supernatural
Yeah.
type stuff, like I think you tend to have stronger pilots because you kind of got to sell yourself up front. Because for instance, I didn't get any Battlestar Galactica that I've been watching the new version, but I actually found that the pilot for that is actually on a lot of people's list. And I was like,
okay.
that it's kind of surprising again because
Yeah.
just in my head I'm like pilots usually suck, but I'm like I guess maybe they don't suck as often when I think it's more comedies. Like I mean. The Office, the whole first season. I mean, Parks and Rec, the whole first season almost. It's
No,
like-
you're not wrong.
It's just
Yeah.
like, oh man, sometimes comedies just take some time to get their feet out from under. So that's just kind of cool though, because I was definitely not expecting to see any pilots on here. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and deciding between this and the other ones that I had in my honorable mention, the comedic episodes, I had to go with the spooky one because that is what Supernatural started out as. is kind of a monster of the week kind of show.
Yeah.
Oh, this week they're hunting a Wendigo. This week they're hunting a pack of werewolves. This week they're hunting a den of vampires. You know, that kind of thing.
Werewolves sound fun.
They are not fun in Supernatural. No, thank you. Wendigo's worse.
Werewolves are always fun, sir.
No.
They just want to give you a hug. All right, so
From the inside.
from the inside out. Next up is my number 7, and it is the one that replaced Twilight of the Apprentice from Rebels because that one was not eligible, and it is Shadow Warrior,
Good
Ahsoka,
episode.
season 1, episode 5. Just absolutely stunning. I mean, we talked about it at length. We covered Ahsoka on an episode, so I don't have to go too deep. But this episode is just some of the best Disney Plus I've ever seen. Now I will say, I was thinking about it because I remember making a meme at one point about episode 5s, and it was this, and it was X-Men 97. But my list was set, and I'm like, oh, X-Men 97. That episode 5, that... I'm glad I didn't think about it, though, because I had a hard enough time whittling my list down.
That one did cross my mind.
Man, that was...
And I was just like, oof.
That was what was it? Remember It? Is that the name of the episode, I think?
I think so.
Because I remember getting a meme where it was like this and this. I'm like, what? In the future now, do we just need to like circle episode 5s of all Disney Plus shows? I know it's only 2, but it has happened twice.
The Mandalorian, season 2, episode 5, The Jedi.
Oh, that's true. So maybe we're onto something here.
Wait, let me go look up like WandaVision.
Agatha. What's Agatha's episode 5? When's that? We got to circle that now.
Episode.
So yeah, I don't have a lot to say. I mean, I love the younger Ahsoka. We talked about this already in a full episode. The Hayden Christensen returning fully as Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. I know he was Vader in Obi-Wan, but this just to see him as Anakin, to see him in the Matt Lanter Clone Wars costume, to see Ariana Greenblatt, is it? I think
so.
Playing the young Ahsoka was incredible. Just everything about this episode was just like jaw on the floor. I've probably watched this episode 10, 15 times. Like it's just it's so good. And then everything. I mean, to see Chopper,
the freaking walking out of the smoke with the Darth Vader.
Yeah,
that was one of the moments from Star Wars that's burned into my brain.
Yeah,
that's competing with originals saga, the prequels, the sequels. Rebels, all of that.
Yeah. As well as the other one that I like is Hera, Jason, and Chopper looking over the water when he's having her.
And you hear the lightsabers.
To hear, and like that, I'm getting chills. That's one of the greatest shots I've ever seen in Star Wars. Like that's a fucking painting. Put that on my wall. Like,
Exactly.
So this episode's incredible. So, yeah.
Episode 5 of Agatha is August 9th.
Wait, August 9th?
I mean, October 9th.
As I say, we're going into the past?
I mean, it's witches. I mean, time travel, right?
Yeah, indeed. Never trust a witch, though.
No.
They'll get you. All right, so let me get your thing prepped here. So we are going to your number 6.
My newest episode, I think.
Let me get your picture.
It is my newest episode, yeah.
Get your picture here. And then I will throw out there John's number 6.
Yeah.
Yes. Is the contest Seinfeld episode or season 4 episode 11. This is the
I'm out.
Yeah. This is one where they make a bet of who can go who can go the longest without masturbating. Definitely iconic episode. I'm trying to find your slide here. And also just hilarious. You mentioned the Kramer one where like it's a few minutes and he like walks out of his apartment or walks out of the apartment.
They looked at a woman across the way
that's walking around her apartment naked.
Yeah. Kramer leaves, comes back. I'm out.
Yeah. It's just incredible stuff. Where the fuck is... Sorry, I am losing my mind trying to find the picture. I swear to God. Oh, there we go. All right. And I can actually just adjust mine too because we...
we share on this one too?
Might be sharing on this one. So that is his number 6 is the contest. And for both of us, it is... You can go ahead.
Number 6. Oh, even in the same spot?
It is.
Long time. The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 3. This episode...
Yeah.
Floored me.
Yeah, indeed.
It knocked me down. Like, I cannot believe how good of an episode this was.
Yeah.
The Last of Us had one of the best openings of all time in television.
Oh, yeah.
with the talk of the virus, the parasite, I should say, not the virus.
Yeah, the guy from the Mummy.
Yeah, the brother from Jonathan from the Mummy and everything, just like talking about how dangerous it is.
Every time my
cordyceps, is that what it's called?
Yeah. Or he's talking about fungus
But
in general.
he's talking about cordyceps though. Is that it?
No, he's talking about fungus as a larger. He does mention cordyceps, but he's like,
if one of those cordyceps, for example, jumps to humans, this and everything.
Yeah.
But this episode just unbelievable.
yeah,
That this is such a good episode. Like unbelievable to see like the crazy bunker having
Prepper.
supplies prepper hates the government kind of guy.
yeah. Hides out underground so he avoids like the
Roundup squads.
the roundups and stuff.
the,
yeah.
the death squads basically we find
yeah,
out
essentially. Yeah.
because that was one of the heartbreaking parts of the episode too, is like you see that little girl get in with a doll or a teddy bear or something,
yeah.
and Pedro Pascal and
Like they're basically the body disposal. And
you
the
see him. Oh my gosh, how can I not remember her name?
the Tess.
The girl.
Is it Tess?
Is it?
That's the girl he's with at the beginning of the show.
No. The Ellie.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's before we see Ellie though, because it's one of the first introductions we get to modern Joe, because it's Joel, because there's someone they're all unloading the bodies, and the person calls them over. They're like, "I can't do this."
Aren't they walking to their place and they see the body disposal? It's Ellie and Joel.
No. No. I'm talking about the one you're talking about, where you see the mom and the daughter. You see the daughter with the doll, or it's either a doll or it's what the daughter's wearing.
Yeah.
And then you flash to Joel where they're unloading the bodies, and the person freaks out because they can't do the kid.
No.
Joel.
No. The kid. That's the kid from the opening scene. That's the first episode, is where they say they can't do it anymore. Ellie and Joel are on the road, and they see the bottle disposal because it's a squad that rounded them up and killed them. And we see the skeletons.
Oh, yeah,
of them.
you're right.
Yeah, because it's Ellie that Bella Ramsey. Yeah,
yeah,
that sees that and everything. So
you're right.
Like,
I'm conflating too.
Yeah. No, yeah. But like the Death Squad finding out about that. And
Also, I do want to
everything.
point out this is number 5 for John.
Oh, is it really? So all of us right around the same spot too. That just tells you.
Yeah, we all have the rescue, and we all have this episode.
That's the only two that the three of us share.
Yeah, all 3. Yeah,
Wow.
across the board.
That's crazy.
So,
But yeah, I'm doing all the talking. What about you?
I mean,
sir?
it's just it's kind of just one of the best love stories I've ever seen on screen. And just so well done. I mean, the last stretch of scenes with these two characters, Frank and Bill. I'm getting hazy a little bit on the names. I think it's Frank and Bill.
I think so.
Just the whole story with them. I mean, there's humor in it early on when he's in the hole. He's like, "Do you have a weapon?" No. Why did it take you so long to answer? It's just everything about it's just funny. It plays it all up. You see him like it's and it's Ron Swanson ultimately.
Yeah.
But it's like he's like it's like his dream, right? Like he's like built up this bunker. He's got gates and booby traps and
Frank and Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought
Maybe.
that's what I said.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's just an absolutely wonderful episode, top to bottom. And obviously boosted the song that is played here, ended up like quadrupling on Spotify.
It's funny how shows do that. Like the one in Stranger Things, the newest season.
Yeah.
Running up the hill.
Yeah.
How much it exploded
And
after
Metallica.
that. Oh, Metallica too. Yeah.
Metallica with 1. Not to say
Yeah.
they weren't like massive, but 1 I don't think was ever in like the top 10 of Metallica's things, and I think it might be their highest streamed song now. So no, it happens all the time. But Linda Ronstadt's song. But yeah, this is just an incredible episode. Just an absolute work of art. I mean, it also made me feel good that I could do this because I wanted Chernobyl so bad.
Yeah.
And we can't because it's a miniseries. I mean, let's be honest. I'm glad I didn't have to deal with miniseries because this was already really hard to do. But this is the same creator as the guy that did Chernobyl, so being able to have this is like because the dude's just killing it. So
he is amazing at making television. Let me just say that.
Yeah, indeed.
Even if it is a miniseries, it's still television.
Yeah. And we got season 2 of The Last of Us coming, so I can't wait.
Thank God.
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
So,
I will say this is one of the only episodes I will say that tells a complete story.
yeah, it's pretty self-contained for the most part.
Yeah,
It's
like
connected
these characters.
it's connected to the story, but it's not like I don't know. I'm trying to think. It's not.
Like
It
they go there for supplies and everything.
Yeah.
But really, we're finding out about Bill and Frank and who they are, what they are, how they love, how they express, pain and everything. And like you said, the best love story you've ever seen put to
Yeah,
film.
it's incredible.
It's one of, if not the best, for me.
Yeah.
And you have that in an episode.
Yeah. Like it's a long episode, it's like 100 or an hour 20, I think.
Yeah.
But still, it's just it's absolutely stunningly incredible. It's one of my favorite. I mean, this is one of those ones like when I initially threw this at you, there's some episodes I knew would probably be on the list. I wanted to leave myself open because I'm like maybe because once I get a whole list out there, who knows? But there's certain ones I'm like I'm pretty sure it'll be somewhere, and this is one where I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it's on there, like for sure. So
good.
good stuff. So next up, we're gonna go to my number 5. Your number 5's already been revealed.
Yep.
So my number 5 is Chicanery, which is Better Call Saul season 3, episode 5. Another episode 5, just not Disney at work here.
Dude, I'm starting to see a trend here, Ted.
So this one is the whole. I mean, you started Better Call Saul, so you certainly know that like there's a brother involved, and the brother there's like you got through the first season, right?
I think so.
Okay,
It's
so,
been a minute.
So, ultimately, you end up finding out the whole first season. You think there's this third party that's his brother's partner, for this giant law firm and shit, and they won't hire Saul,
Right.
Jimmy, but you end up thinking it's the other guy. The whole first season, at the very end, you end up finding out it's his brother. The whole time that was just like using the other guy as the villain, but ultimately it was him that was like, I'm not letting this guy work here.
Yeah.
And this is the episode. This is kind of a great episode because it ends up being Jimmy did some illegal shit, and this is a bar hearing, so it's kind of a court thing.
Yeah.
But it's essentially like, are you going to lose your law license? And there's chicanery, like there's shenanigans involved that like essentially like so yeah, a lot of crazy shit happened, but it ultimately, what I love about it is it's kind of like Chernobyl, where it's like the courtroom, like an episode that's a courtroom drama is almost just like you can't say no. It's like A Few Good Men, like just you want to see a courtroom scene, and it's just incredible.
Yeah,
this is kind of that, but also at the same time, it allows Jimmy to kind of do his thing and kind of be
a lawyer,
get one on his brother too. Like
Yeah.
there's some shenanigans. I guess chicanery is another word for shenanigans. There's some shenanigans afoot in this episode, but it's just incredible. There's a really good like speech that his brother gives. Wonderful episode. I remember just seeing it and being like, holy fuck. And I think there were episodes previous that made me think like, oh my God, they're like on the level of like the high end Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But this is the point where I'm like, are they surpassing Breaking Bad in some ways?
Yeah.
So just incredible episode. Definitely one of my favorite episodes for television. So that gets us over to number 4. I'm going to get yours prepped, but I am going to okay, let me but I'm also going to mention John's number 4 is Saul Gone, which is Better Call Saul's finale, season 6, episode 13. Again, he doesn't give any context, but yeah, definitely a really good episode. Yeah. And what they end up doing is the last couple episodes of Better Call Saul are actually flash forwards to after Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
So, like, you kind of got
that in the beginning of season 1, and throughout season 1,
you get some teases
where he's working and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and what he's doing after the events of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, but in these episodes, these last 3 or 4, it's all the flashback stuff's completely over, and it is all post Walter White. So
Gotcha.
that's kind of cool because it allowed them to kind of maybe give us a little bit of hints about what does the world look like after the Breaking Bad ended. So he did the last one, which ends up being a really big episode. So next up, I need to find your slide picture. And then all right, so we're going to your number 4. And it is, I did get yours up already, but I'm going to get my picture down so I can mess with it. All right, your number 4?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, The Body, season 5, episode 16.
And that's one where I had to abridge the name.
Yeah.
That was too long. I'm like, good God.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Those aren't all short words, so
No, they
it
are
ended
not.
up like overlapping.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, I could either like shrink it way down or I could just like abbreviate. So
That works. Buffy TVS. Yeah, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I'm
Yeah.
sure most people probably just say Buffy, but
It is Buffy. Yeah. This episode breaks you. Like, it's
Go on.
the whole season of season 5 is Buffy dealing with the sudden appearance of a sister that didn't exist for the first 4 seasons. So you're dealing with that. What the fuck, is this, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, her mom gets sick, and her mom's single parent. Parents are divorced, single parent, and dealing with that. And the end of the previous episode was a cliffhanger. She walks in and is like, "Hey, Mom, what's going on?" Like coming home, like saying hi to Mom and everything. And the shot is shot from like up the stairs down, but you can see in the front room behind her, and you just see her mom prone on the couch. And then the episode ends with her saying, "Mom, Mom."
Your wife's just heartbreaking.
And then
there,
and then the very last word you hear at the end of the episode is, "Mommy," like rescending into childhood and everything.
Yeah.
And so the body starts right there. Same scene. You know those episodes that do that, where they go back 5 minutes and play
Yeah.
that over. And the thing about this episode that gets you is it's just seeing the loss from different perspectives. Her friends, her
Yeah.
sister, her dad figure, Giles is his name. It's called a Watcher. Every Slayer has a Watcher. It's kind of like a Jedi Master apprentice kind of thing,
Yeah.
but he's more librarian.
I was gonna say manager.
Manager kind of thing. Like he doesn't fight, but he does fight because he cares about her
Yeah.
like a daughter kind of thing.
I have no context. I was just, as you're like
No, yeah.
trying to speak, I'm like, manager?
kind of like that. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the Slayer is the empowered one. They super reflexes, super strength,
Yeah.
healing abilities and stuff like that a little bit more than a normal human. And the Watcher is supposed to be the one that has like the encyclopedia knowledge of how do you kill this demon?
Yeah, so it's
how do you handle this?
Kind of the person in the chair.
Exactly. And everything. And so seeing like all of their reactions, Giles and Joyce, her mother, had a romantic relationship a couple times throughout the first 4 seasons. So
Yeah.
there's even more to it than that. So it's just dealing with grief. And then one of the greatest things about the episode, not a note of music. Not a single note of music.
Yeah.
And it's a stylistic choice, and it's amazingly done.
Yeah.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
I don't know why I missed that show. I never really got into it. I think it was just one of. It's weird as a kid because you just like either
Yeah.
get into something or you don't, and it's just like sometimes if you don't, especially now with as much shit's coming out, it's like
Yeah.
there's just a chance you never circle back to things that
Absolutely.
you missed out on. It's kind of wild. It's a fire hose of content for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so my number 4, not a surprise probably that I've got some Breaking Bad on mine.
What?
And
What?
I will say that these are not even because of my rewatch. This would have been on my list.
Oh, I don't doubt that. You've watched Breaking Bad enough times that you know what your favorite episodes are.
Yeah, and so all of season 4, toward the tail end of season 3, they're working for Gus, but then Walt does some shit that gets Gus kind of like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I'm not killing you is because I need you to keep cooking meth, but once I figure out a way, like, you're fucking done.
Yeah.
And the whole 4th season is just like edge of your seat, like, cat and mouse, back
Buckle
and forth.
up.
And every fucking step,
Yeah.
it seems like Gus is just enough smarter, has just enough instinct to outfox Walt. You know, and this is the last episode, so it's just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, how is this going to work? And then eventually he finally gets the,
Ding, ding, ding.
Hector with the bomb, and it's just the whole 4th season is just I love season 5, I really do, but there's part of me that's like, I think season 4 is just the fucking creme de la creme of this show because it's
Yeah.
just Gus is the ultimate villain and Walt, and so it just puts like Walt has to be like
Yeah.
at his A game to beat this villain. Season 5 is incredible, and like he eventually gets caught or gets discovered by his brother-in-law, which is huge. But you got like the Nazis, and it's just none of them ever equated to like Gus. And this is the finale of Gus,
Yeah.
where it's just like,
I mean, Gus was built from what, season 2?
yeah. I always forget
So-
that. I always think season 3, but then he shows
Nope.
up at the tail end of season 2, and I'm like, what the fuck? Every time I watch it, I'm like, all right, cool, Gus in season 3, and then in season 2 he pops up, and I'm like, good God,
He's here already?
That's Gus Fring. So I love Face Off, though. It's just, again, it feels like you can't breathe the whole episode.
Yeah.
And of course, you get into the realm where it's like Walt poisons the little boy, which we don't end up confirming until season 5, episode 1.
Yeah.
But it's like you kind of get the illusion of like, oh my God, did Walt poison a kid to get Jesse to manipulate Jesse into helping
Lord.
him? And he did. And you end up finding out he did. But it's like the questions left. I think 4 may have been the first season I watched entirely live as well, so maybe that's part of it. Because I think I started watching it into the tail end of season 3 live. But yeah, Face Off, one of my favorite episodes, and double meaning, right? Facing off with Gus, but then Gus also ends up with half of his face off. I love those. Boom. I love those double meaning things. They crack me up.
Yeah.
All right, so the problem is I always have to be I'm talking as well as I got
a little bit of prep. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me get your God damn it. All right, I don't know why your slides are. I guess both of our slides are out of order, so that's annoying. That's never happened.
How dare they?
It's never happened to me before. Usually when I set them, they're set and they're good. All right, and then I gotta take my picture down, and then all right, your number 3.
My number 3 is Game of Thrones: The Reigns of Castamere. Season 3, episode 9. We already mentioned this. It was your honorable mention?
On my honorable mention,
Yeah.
Lannister send their regards.
Lannister send their regards. The
Just brutal, man.
brutal nature of this.
Like, it's one thing for like to see Ned die, and it's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this is not a kind of show I've ever seen before.
But that's Sean Bean. He's supposed to die.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you know?
he's like Joe Pesci. You always see him, and you're like, oh, how's he gonna die?
So here's the thing about this one. This is where I picked up the show. You just mentioned Breaking Bad, how you picked it up in
Live
season 4. Season 4 is where I picked up Game of Thrones, if I remember right.
Season 3.
No, season 4.
Oh,
So this is what I watched.
like
the penultimate
streaming.
episode before having a break to start up season 4.
Oh, I see.
If I
Yeah.
remember right, my wife might correct me on
second to
that.
last.
That's penultimate.
Oh, I thought you said last for some
Nope,
reason.
penultimate episode.
Yeah,
Um,
because Game of Thrones, man, is the second
their
to last.
9th
It
episode.
was always the 9th.
It was always I mean, later seasons don't have 9 episodes, but
Yeah.
the early seasons, that Ned's death was on the 9th. Battle of Blackwater was on the 9th.
Yeah.
This was the 9th, and I'll say this is one where it changed me for television, and it's going to make a little bit more sense when you see my number 2 versus this one, because I'm going to save my explanation for another reason why it's up here, because
Okay.
it goes hand in hand with my number 2.
Okay.
But
But it's a game changer of an
But it's a
episode.
game-
I mean,
exactly,
like,
it's a game changer.
Literally, you lose almost everyone you had been cheering for.
Yeah, because
right? Like,
and you know me,
it's like
I
an-
root for the good guys.
It's like an atomic bomb. Like you
Yeah.
wipe the entire fucking map of essentially who's been your heroes. Like it's nuts.
Now what?
Yeah, it's like what the and the thing is, I remember when I was watching, I knew the Red Wedding was a thing. I'd heard that phrase enough
Yeah.
to know that like this show's got something called the Red Wedding. But as I was watching it with my dad, and he had already seen it, so he kind of knew, I kept thinking that, oh, the Red Witch is going to marry Stannis, and that's going to be the Red Wedding, and it's going to be some fucking demonic whatever.
Yeah.
And so when the Red Wedding started, I was just like stunned. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
What the hell?
And my dad's like, this is the Red Wedding. I'm like, no.
No.
That's not right. It's supposed to be the Red Witch.
Yeah.
And so I was just aghast. Like it was just.
Yeah, floored me. I remember we had put our daughter to bed.
I remember telling you to text me.
Yeah.
Like I think I said just text me through certain
Yep.
just throughout the season because I didn't want to like tell you like, hey, after episode 9, please text me.
Yeah.
So I think
like-
I shotgunned it. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, text me after every episode your thoughts.
And so we watched this. We put our daughter to bed. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I think this is the first season I watched live. I think we watched the 2 seasons on streaming.
Yeah.
And so we watched this, because we put our daughter to bed. Now that I'm thinking about it, we put our daughter to bed. She was only like 1 or 2.
Are you sure? Because that would have meant you watched it before I did.
2013?
I didn't. Yeah, because I watched it on DVD with my dad. Because again, I saw the Red Wedding on DVD, and I was like, "Wait, what the fuck is going
So
on?"
yeah,
here?
so okay, maybe I did start picking it up in season 4 then.
I thought I was ahead of you. I'm not.
It might have been. I don't remember. Either
Yeah.
way, I just remember ending the episode, turning to my wife, and going, "What did we just watch?
Yeah. And this
What
is
just happened? You don't kill every good guy."
and this is the reason HBO greenlit the show from the outset.
Was this-
because they kind of knew like the Red Wedding? They knew
Yeah.
enough about the books to know, and they're like, this is one of the main reasons we're greenlighting this show, is because like
Yeah.
this is different than anything that's ever been made before.
Yeah, and I will say another thing that came up. I was searching for what episode, what season this is, so so you could get it in the
Yeah.
title here. I will say that the the Reigns of Castamere is a very popular song for people to learn how to play on instruments.
Yeah.
Like, I searched the Reigns of Castamere, and the top 4 or 5 results were how to play this on piano, what's the sheet music, how to play this on the violin, and all these different things. So it's just like,
Sorry, your slide just went nuts all of a sudden.
Yeah, I see that.
God damn it. Ugh. And
the
then
slides are killing us,
then
Ted.
it's our dude, it's never done this to us before.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I think it was like playing or all of a sudden.
It is, yeah, it's cycling through them all. There we go. It's back to where it should be.
All right. But yeah. Yeah.
Great episode.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of episodes of Game of Thrones that a lot of people would put higher, but this is where
You'd
it
be
changed me.
surprised because after I had my list, I looked it up just to see, and this was pretty common as top 3, if not.
Yeah, top 3. Yeah, the top one that I found almost consistently was Battle of the Bastards.
I know people love that episode. I do not, man. I think some of the earlier shit, like this, is way better than Battle to me. But yeah,
I know a lot of people love the action though.
I know,
like that's the
but-
thing. It's like the big battles. That's what they signed up for. So
Yeah,
I get it, but for me,
give me the Viper in the Mountain
oh my
too.
dude, that was an honorable mention that I was like, I have 6 honorable mentions.
I
had 10. That's the thing I wanted to call you a bastard about. I had 10 honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And whittled it down.
And so I didn't give you a rule, but my rule is I think what I'm going to try to do in general is I'm never going to let my honorable mentions get to 50%. So I'm like, I got to have
If you
four.
have-
I've got to
yeah.
have 4 honorable mentions for a top 10. And I think that's kind of fair for myself. I'm not going to hold you to that because there was me too. I was at a point where I'm like, oh, I've got 7 honorable mentions for a top 10. I'm like,
It's like, this is too many.
yeah,
That's too many.
yeah, indeed. So definitely, yeah. All right, so my number 3, or I'm sorry, I want to hit John's too. He had The Getaway, which is Dexter's 4th season, episode 12, which is the finale of the Trinity Killer, which is what he's got in.
That's John Lithgow's character, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, and I could totally see that. That's a killer episode. I always tell people just stop there. Like if you're gonna watch Dexter, watch
Yeah.
those 4 seasons and then peace out.
They're
Don't.
bringing it back, aren't they?
Or they already have. I don't fucking know.
Oh.
I'm not interested. So for me, number 3 is The Inner Light, which is Star Trek Next Generation, episode or season 5, episode 25.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna get. I don't rewatch Star Trek. I watched this when I was a kid. Is this the one where Picard loses his mind?
No.
Okay.
So this one, they go and they find this satellite, and then he gets zapped, and he's unconscious essentially from the Bridges' perspective the rest of the episode. But the course of the episode, he basically, this alien race decided the way to be memorialized is they would have this thing that would basically go into someone's brain, and then he would live the entire life of a person, this scientist on
Oh.
this planet. And so you suddenly see Picard with a wife and kids, and then eventually a dying planet, and the whole episode is just because Picard was always kind of the bachelor, right? He never had a family, he didn't have
Right.
a wife. Like it was the thing. He chose duty over being a family man, and that's a recurring thing of him throughout. Even when you get into the realm of the movies and shit, where it's like it's a thing that kind of he's always struggling with. Was that the right choice? Should I have had a family instead of my career?
Yeah.
In this episode, it's like to see the whole episode of him basically having a loving wife, kids, trying to save this planet that's, gonna kind of almost Kryptonian.
Yeah.
We got to see if there's a way to whatever. But then ultimately he ends up waking up and he plays his flute throughout the whole thing. And then when he wakes up, they actually are able to, or something gets launched out of it, and he gets it, and it's the flute. The real flute from the memories, and then that becomes like a thing where throughout the series you actually see a couple times you'll see the flute again. So it's like a recurring like memory where it's like it's one of the greatest episodes ever made, and they do a good job of like making sure that people kind of don't forget about it. Standalone episode, has nothing to do with like the larger Klingon, Borg, it's just this standalone episode that's
Which
just
again, a lot
dude,
of times,
dude, these people that keep bitching about filler episodes, I want to throat punch because it's like, dude, some of the greatest episodes of all time.
long time. Last of Us.
Yes.
The Inner Light.
Next Generation.
Next Generation. Yeah, these ones. they matter.
Yes, indeed.
If you take that stuff out, that's where you're going to lose a lot of these great episodes.
Yeah, and that's where I want to like argue with people and shake them a little bit, because it's like, man, you guys, we can't. I don't know. Like, I almost even worry about that too with the streaming era where everything's so fucking short. It's like, are we going to just lose some of these episodes that we
Yeah,
just
we
fucking
are.
adore because
are.
everything's going to be 8 or 10 episodes? And like, I get it. You could just streamline the main story, but it's like, what about all that richness? You know, what about those X-Files episodes that are just the creature of the week that are like beloved? You know, like you're not going to ever
Yeah.
get those. Like, it's kind of it's a bummer a little bit, but
It is.
yeah. To speak to that though, this episode's incredible. It's one of those ones that like if somebody was not really a Star Trek fan and I had to give them an episode to watch for next gen, this is probably one because it's
This would be it.
self-contained and
Yeah.
you know, yeah, great. There's a few other next gen episodes that I consider, but luckily they were all 2-parters, so that saved my ass a couple times in this podcast.
I did not come across that once
Really?
for mine.
So there's the finale to Next Gen, but that's 2-parter. There's Best of Both Worlds where he gets assimilated by the Borg. That's a 2-parter. Most of these are really like great fucking episodes or 2-parters, so it's like, cool. Like, again, as someone that had 20 something on my shotgun list,
20?
or it was like 27, I think.
I had 25. You son of a bitch. That is too many.
Yeah, I had like 27, so I was
This
like,
almost should have been a top 20, Ted.
probably could have for sure.
No,
So
not could have. It would have. It should have been.
all right, so next up, we're going to be moving to number 2. So John has Forks from the Bear, season 2, episode 7.
Okay.
I started that. I think I watched the first episode. I loved it, but I think something dropped on Disney Plus or something, and I just got pulled away, and I haven't got back
okay.
around. But I do want to get back around and watch it because I don't know. I've heard nothing but good things across the board. So
Isn't it set in Chicago?
I've only watched one episode. Yes,
That's trouble for you.
ER is too though. So
Ugh.
yeah, lot of Chicago on television. So, all right. So let's go to. I'm going to drop my picture off before I change the slide. So we're going over to your number 2.
Which is pretty much dead already. The Walking Dead season 2, episode 7. So what I was saying before, where this and the Reigns of Castamere kind of go
Yeah.
hand in hand, is this is the pretty much dead already aired in 2011, and I watched The Walking Dead from the start. I was obsessed with zombies back then
Yeah.
and everything.
You're welcome.
Absolutely, it was you that did it. Introducing me to the real zombies with Romero and everything.
Yeah.
Also, this is after seeing The Mist, Frank Darabont.
Yeah. This is Frank's final stretch, isn't it?
The end of season 2.
Yeah.
No, he left during season 2.
Yeah. I think a lot of season 2 was done.
It's
by the
still
time he left, so.
this is the finale of season 2. So during season 2, they lose Sophia, a little girl, one of the daughters of it's the daughter of Carol, I think is the character's name. And they
Yeah.
go looking for her. They end up finding a
Isn't
farm.
she the mom in The Mist that needs to go get her kids, actor-wise?
I think so.
I don't know why Carol's stuck in my head. And I'm visualizing her, so
I
it probably
think
is.
so.
Probably is.
She kind of thinking of the actress in my head. I think it,
Yeah.
Without looking it up, I think you're right. Lose her when a zombie small horde attack their little caravan, and she runs off into the woods. They end up going and looking for her.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
They find a farm. This is earlier in the season. This isn't this episode. And then come to find out that Shane, which is played by Punisher John Benthal,
Yeah. I know what kind of man you are.
yeah, Rick's best friend, finds out that Herschel, the guy who owns the farm,
Yeah.
is hiding loved ones and people,
Yeah.
walkers,
Which is classic zombie affair. For sure.
hiding them in the barn until a cure can be found.
Yeah.
And obviously, Shane, that's his name, Shane wants to wipe them out, and Rick is trying to keep the peace because if they wipe them out, they're going to lose the farm, and they're going to have to go somewhere else and everything like that.
Yeah.
Well, Shane ends up opening the barn, so now there is no choice. The walkers are loose. You have to defend yourself.
Yeah, I remember
And so
that. Yeah.
everyone starts gunning down zombies, and all the walkers drop, and they're all dead. And then one last walker comes walking out of the shadows, and it's Sophia. She's dead. She's a walker
And a kid, right?
and a kid. She's
I do love kid zombies because they don't do it enough.
no. She's
Dawn of the Dead did it.
she's-
And ever since Dawn of the Dead, I'm like, I need to see some fucking tiny little kid
Yeah.
zombies, like because it upsets people. Like
Yeah,
that's
it
the
does.
whole premise of horror.
It's unsettling.
Is get
Yeah.
to people. So that's cool. I like that. I know I'm a monster, but I like.
You are a monster. But the thing with this, the thing that stands out for this is where I knew that the show was going to be different.
Yeah.
Like the first season's amazing, and then you find out a secret at the end of season 1, which was on my list, went to my honorable mentions, and then got removed because I had too many.
Yeah.
Is where you find out that everyone is infected. When you die, you become a walker, no matter what you die from.
Yeah.
So unless your brain is destroyed,
Which is that's kind of Romero style, like the Dead Rise, like that's
Dead
like,
Rise.
Like it's later iterations where it's like you have to get bit. Like yes,
Yeah.
biting will turn you.
Yes.
But like Romero, it's like if someone dies, you need to put a bullet in their head because
Yeah, exactly.
that will reanimate.
Yeah.
So
And so
I respect that.
Rick knows this, and I don't remember. I have not watched The Walking Dead. I stopped watching it in season 6, but I don't remember if this is where Rick reveals that everyone already has it, the virus, and that everyone's contaminated. 'cause
Oh, I remember that because they go to like a health.
they go to the
place,
CDC,
and that's where
in
they end up
Atlanta.
finding it. Yeah, that's right. That's I remember.
And he
that.
finds the guy who's about to blow up the CDC tells Rick that if anyone dies, you need to destroy the brain.
Yeah.
I don't remember the logistics, like if we know or if he just whispers it and then Rick finally conveys it to someone else. But the thing that stands out for this is that Shane's all gung ho for being leader, and Shane's all gung ho for Rick to do the right thing, and pushing Rick and pushing Rick and pushing Rick to potentially screw over their chance of staying at this farm with Herschel and his family.
Yeah.
That when Sophia walks out, Shane falls back and does nothing. And the shot here that I have is Rick walks forward and shoots her.
Yeah.
Rick's the one that steps up. Rick is the one that mans up and puts that responsibility on his shoulders.
I remember that now. Yeah, as you're speaking this, like, because I watched
It's
the
like-
first.
yeah.
I know I watched the first 2 seasons. I don't remember if I watched the third, but I know I watched the first 2 seasons. And
Yeah.
so as you're saying some of this, it's like all flashing back.
Yeah,
Oh
like,
my god,
yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it sticks with me because it's one of those moments in television where I just knew this show was built differently, and that's what happened with The Reigns of Castamere.
Yeah.
Is that I knew this show was different, and that's why they're so high on my list, even over my fan favorite stuff like
Yeah.
the pilot of Supernatural, which I love.
They're tone setters. Like
Right.
Especially because both those are in an era where TV was changing.
It was.
like suddenly it wasn't just TV's kind of this lesser cousin that's next. No, suddenly it was like TV was like the best acting, the best writing, the best like cinematography, the best shit happening was on television.
I would rather stay home and watch The Walking Dead with my wife than go to a movie
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah, and that
know?
was kind of in the era where suddenly shit was changing, and it was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like TV's better than movies. Like,
Yeah.
it's never happened before.
I remember watching this because I watched this live, and this came out in 2011, which is before I married my wife, because I married her in 2012. And I just remember the first time I showed this to her, because I got her into The Walking Dead too. And I just remember the first time, man, she cried so bad when
Yeah.
Sophia walked out and Rick had to put her down and everything.
Yeah,
And I just that's the reason why these two are so high, and the reason that The Walking Dead is higher is the significance of, one, I love zombies.
yeah,
I absolutely love zombies. Everything about zombies.
and it's Frank Darabont too.
It's
That's-
Frank Darabont. The storytelling here where Shane falls back and Rick steps forward. I haven't seen a better example of one simple act
Yeah.
like that, where push, oh shit, needs to be done.
Yeah.
The leader steps up.
Yeah.
Seeing that storytelling in that one simple act hasn't been done for a while.
Yeah.
Or if it has, it's like, yeah, The Walking Dead's the first one that really kind of did that for me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's the first one ever in television history, but it's the first one for me.
yeah. Oh no,
know?
and that's what it comes down to a lot is personal.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. And so that's where like I fell in love with The Walking Dead here. Now I did end up having issues with the show.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe it started carrying on too long and getting a little
long in the tooth.
long in the tooth. It's,
yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing.
It became a
people-
soap opera.
It's the same thing that people said about Supernatural. But honestly, you know what the nail in the coffin for The Walking Dead was? I got fucking sick and tired of them taking so many goddamn breaks.
Yeah,
2 episodes, break.
Yeah.
3 weeks without an
I remember they
episode.
even did that from day one because even when I was still watching, it was like it felt like it was for one. I think they even just had the one break in the middle, and it was
Yeah.
just one of those things where it's like That's not how TV works.
No.
Once you start a season, you fucking
You
go.
finish. I mean, maybe
So-
you miss an episode for like, you miss an episode because of
Christmas or something.
Christmas,
but they were taking
or the Super Bowl.
they were
or
taking like
something.
a month off.
No, and that was it.
And it just turned into a thing where it felt more like it was all about having a mid-season finale and a
end season finale.
and like the second half starting back up, because then they can get all the pyro and belly who like just all this shenanigans like and hype, and it's like so you're more just artificially creating more of those first and last episodes.
Yeah.
And it's just cheap. I remember that in the first couple of
Yeah.
seasons when I watched. I was like, come on, man.
Just give me my 8 episodes and we'll be good.
Yeah. So
my wife
frustrating.
says stop being about zombies and more about humans versus humans, which I will say that is one of the most common things with late stage zombie apocalypses.
Yeah.
Is that zombies stop becoming a threat.
Yeah.
You know how to handle zombies. Humans become the real issue.
Oh yeah, and that's what Romero always said. Is Romero was always like, I feel bad for the zombies.
Yeah, humans are the biggest monsters.
Yeah, he's like, the humans are the bigger monsters, and he's
Yeah.
like, zombies can't help themselves. They're just doing what they do.
Yeah.
He's like, it's the humans that are like fucking people over and just being the absolute worst human being, worst creatures.
which is fine for like a 2.5 hour
yeah,
movie.
for sure. Yeah,
But for 9 seasons,
yeah. Then it becomes a thing where it's like, are you just saving budget by not showing zombies?
exactly. And it's just kind of like, this is The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Not the guy with the baseball bat, Negan, and shit like that. And
Yeah.
I've obviously gone and watched like clips and seen like the most brutal deaths and seen how some of the characters ended up and everything. But this episode changed television for me.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, so next up, I got my number 2 is Plan and Execution. This is Better Call Saul season 6, episode 7. I'm going to be slightly cagey because I still have a hope that you're going to dive into Better Call Saul, because it legitimately is like really. And the problem is it's almost like 2 shows within itself. Like it's always Jimmy and Saul, but it's like the first 3 seasons are very law-based, family-based, him and his brother. The second 3 seasons and some of the like cartel stuff is peppered in, but the last 3 seasons it feels way more like cartel, like drug based, like crazy shit. But like this episode though, Jimmy the guy from season 1 that was kind of the puppet for the brother, so Jimmy kind of hates him. He decides to destroy this dude's life, and they go
brother, or whose life is getting destroyed?
The third party guy.
Okay.
The brother's partner that was playing the villain for the brother's sake, to give the brother cover, essentially. Jimmy decides to destroy his life, so they do this intricate thing to basically make him look like a drug addict and destroy destroy his life, essentially.
Yeah.
And this is where it finally comes to a head. Multiple episodes of building to this, and they're very cagey as a show about telling you what the plan is. But it's kind of like when you finally get to this episode, it's like you see it happen, and it's just kind of like Breaking Bad, where it's like it may I don't know, it's hard because it's hard to see, because it's like you as an audience kind of know like it was never that dude's idea to fuck Jimmy over.
Yeah.
He was just doing what he was told by his partner. So you kind of feel more bad for him. So it's really like a train wreck where you're just like, I don't want to watch this. And it's bad. It's incredible though. I remember just being like my jaw on the floor. Like, I don't know if I've had like a physical reaction to an episode like I did with this. It was just like,
oh my god.
And like it's wild. And this is certainly where I was just like, by this point there was a big debate about people like, is Better Call Saul better than Breaking Bad? And some are saying yes, some are saying no. I could probably never fully say yes, because Breaking Bad's like nostalgic a little bit. But this is the episode where I'm like, I fully understand where people are taking the other side.
I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Breaking Bad's better, but I understand where you're coming from, sir.
But now you have every argument in the world. When I saw this episode, I'm like, I get it. Like it's and I like I said, it's and I'll probably even admit that I'll probably always rank Breaking Bad higher, and it's mostly because that was my first love in this universe, right? If I had come into it way later and watched it in order, which some people actually did, apparently, where they didn't watch Breaking Bad, so they just watched Better Call Saul, and it was like a whole different show for them. But it's like, that's, if I had done that, maybe I'd have a different answer. But this is probably the best episode of the show for sure. So that is my number 2. So next up we got your number 1.
What's John's number 1 too?
Yeah, let me get your slide worked out. John's number 2 or number 1 is Ozymandias, which is the 5th season, 14th episode of Breaking Bad. And yours is, let me see if I can find the goddamn picture. No, that's not it. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and do your number 1.
All right.
I'll drop my picture off too. There we go.
My number 1 is New York's Finest in Daredevil, season 2, episode 3. This is the one where Frank has captured Murdoch, chained him to a roof, and they're having a philosophical debate about how to handle criminals.
Which is classic comic.
Oh,
that happens
so
all the time
good.
with those two.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's like an ongoing dialogue in the comics. So that was like one where I was just like,
Oh.
like, this is
You
like,
Leo'd it.
yeah, it was so good.
And I don't know Punisher. I never saw even the, 2004
Movie, yeah, with
Thomas Jane. And John Travolta is in it, I think.
Yes.
I never saw
Kevin
that.
Nash.
Yeah. I never saw it.
Yeah, missed out on that one.
Just not, never had the interest, honestly, back then. It's just like, oh, it's a revenge movie. I've seen those.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But here we get to see, like, the whole philosophical debate and everything like that about, I put him in the ground, the crime stops. It's like, well, yeah, but you're a criminal doing that. Like, you're just as bad as them, and everything. And so, and then at the end of the episode, you get the fight with the bikers, which is, it's a tough choice. What's the best fight in Daredevil?
Oh, man. I mean, there's probably a hallway involved
There's-
if you're asking me.
Yeah.
But
And this had a hallway. This
Yeah.
has the bikers and everything like
Yeah.
that and everything. And so the fight is amazing. The debate is amazing because
Yeah.
it's, what side are you on? I know what side you're on. I know what side I'm
Yeah.
on.
And it's laying out the
know?
arguments truthfully for both sides of
Yeah.
like how they view like I don't think you could like look at that and say objectively one is absolutely true and the other one has no points at all.
No.
Like I think you'd be dishonest if you were to say that.
Yeah.
And it's like because you
That's
look at
one of
both
those-
of them and it's like yeah, like
Yeah,
I
that's
could
one
see
of
where-
those ones where if someone says, yeah, absolutely, Daredevil's 100% right and Punisher's 100% wrong,
Yeah.
you have to look at that person and go, why?
Yeah.
Like how can you not make an argument for some of these people to be killed? Like you have to be able to. And I'm the same way. I side with Daredevil, but I understand that where Punisher's coming from. I understand the points he's making, and you're the
Yeah.
same way.
And I always like tease you where it's like put Punisher in Gotham and it'll be cleaned up in a week.
Yeah.
He'll just fucking gun these people down.
A Joker gets a double barrel shotgun to the face and everything. So
Yeah. He'd probably use like a 50 BMG just to
just
truly make sure that clown is dead.
yeah.
Also, did you know that not the Thomas Jane one, but the second Punisher movie, Ray Stevenson that played Balin's Skull and that passed away was Punisher in the second
No,
movie?
I didn't even know there was a second one.
Yeah, it was Warzone, Punisher Warzone
Oh.
in 2008. Yeah, I completely missed that. Like when he died, I think I looked up like, what else has he all been in? I saw Punisher. I'm like, oh, well, who do you play in Punisher? Frank Castle. What?
What?
I mean, 2008 versus
Yeah.
when we saw him. There's a number of years between, so
Quite a
he
few.
probably didn't look like he did in Star Wars and Punisher.
Yeah.
But sorry, you mentioned Punisher, and that just sparked
No,
my
absolutely.
memory. But yeah, no, I need to rewatch Daredevil, dude. I loved that show so
Yeah.
much, and it's been a while. Hayden and I have both been talking about it for months. I'm like, God, we need to just like not together, but like both of us are like, God, that'd be a show to rewatch. And I think once we get a solid release date for the new Daredevil,
Same.
I think then I'll like plan it out and be like, okay, I'm
When am I gonna
I'm probably
watch
not gonna like shoulder it right up because my schedule doesn't
No.
allow to like guarantee that like. So I'll probably like if it's like February, I'll probably start it like maybe even next month or this month. Just
Yeah.
then I'll only have to wait a few months. But yeah,
Such a good episode, such a good fight. Everything about it is fantastic.
yeah. I love Charlie Cox, man. He's great. And then for let me get over. My number one is same as John's, Ozymandias, Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
This is the third to last episode. I actually met Ryan Johnson at Star Wars Celebration in 17. Had a couple seconds. He was just going up and down, autographing and taking pictures for people, everyone that wanted one. And I just told him like I believe you made the greatest episode of television of all time. And of course he didn't ask which one I was talking about
He knew.
because he fully well knew. And he just said, oh, thanks. Like that's, cool to hear. But I was definitely blessed to work with the show with a lot of talented people. Like, so he was being humble, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, like
You know.
that fucking episode, like that's
Yeah.
the one ultimately where everything blows up. Like, and that's kind of the thing where it's like everything comes to a head. And this is the one where, you know, you've already seen it, but it's like Hank gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the family unit blows up. His wife and kid, I don't want to say turned on him because he deserved it, but it's like everything blows up. Like
Yeah.
after this, he moves to fucking New Hampshire. And that's the second to last episode, then the finale. So it's
Yeah.
like this episode is just incredible. The action, the drama, just everything. It just feels like this is the episode that from the beginning of the show, you're like, I don't know if you could say like you knew Hank was going to die, but you knew that all this shit was going to blow up on him at some point.
You knew at some point,
and there was going to
it
be collateral damage.
It was the bomb was lit in the
Yeah.
in the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
And it's just been sitting there ticking for 5 seasons.
Yeah, and this is where it finally. I mean, yes, Hank found out earlier, and you kind of have the cat and mouse with him and Hank for a bit. But this is the moment where it's like, you know, Jesse kind of gets the best of him. They trick him by making him think that they found his money. They didn't, but they were tracking him. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, I got your money. I'm going to burn a $10,000 every second until you get here, every minute until you get here, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So he speeds out, and they're just tracking his GPS, and like, oh, well, that's where he buried his money. And then they go out to arrest him, and he's on the phone, and he's like yelling at Jesse, like, I killed like all these. So he also gives the confession because the big thing with Hank is he didn't have evidence.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and Walt just gave it all over the phone because he thinks that Jesse's burning his money, and then you have the big showdown out in the desert, and
Yeah.
like just, like it's just, I think, and not to say that critical or audience acclaim means jack shit, but like this, I still think this is the only IMDb episode that's ranked 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like everything else is like 9.9 or whatever. Like, so
Yeah.
there's some other episodes I disagree with IMDb because there's other episodes I would give a 10 out of 10, but that's just me. But this is just incredible. Like I remember watching this and just being like, I feel bad for whoever did the last 2 episodes because
Yeah.
how are you going to top this? And ultimately they were both good episodes, but they didn't top this.
No.
This was incredible. So, well, this is fun, right?
I hate you.
Oh, I at least you know I had a challenge out of it too. It wasn't like it was a cakewalk for me. So, I suffered as well. But
Not enough.
all right, so yeah, we'll go ahead to the outro stuff of the episode. If you want to email the show, you can email either Peter or myself directly at peter@geekeryabides.com and Tadd at geekeryabides.com. Yeah, we're we'll also talk about the next 2 episodes. I'll let Peter announce his episode,
Yeah.
and then let me get the right slide and the next episode for you, and then I'll announce mine for October as well.
Yeah, I want to give enough time for it to be able to give people time.
Yeah. So yours is next episode in a fortnight from now.
We're gonna do top 10 modern horror films in spooky season fashion.
Because it is October next 2 episodes.
Exactly.
so.
Yeah, next episode's gonna be in October, so we want
So
to do
we're defining modern.
post 2000,
Yeah, this century.
2000 and on.
Yeah, not those ancient movies from the 1900s.
Yeah. No.
Which-
We're gonna go this century.
Which is going to be really fun because we're in a golden era for horror. Like, yeah, the 70s are great, the 80s were fucking sublime, but this and the 90s there were some
There was some
struggles.
hit or miss. There were some struggles.
But this, I feel like since the turn of the century, like there have been some fucking bangers. So
Yeah.
it's a good choice of an episode there. And then for me, a fortnight after that, which I don't know what the date on that is. It is the 5th, and then the 19th. Oh, I guess I should remember because it's funny because on our other podcast. Book Club 19 is on the 19th of October.
Hey,
So
nice.
That's fun. But for mine, on the 19th of October, we are going to be talking about The Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah, it gives us time to watch it, and if anyone wants to watch it on Netflix as well,
Yeah.
please do. Again, that is a Tad episode.
Yeah, that one's me.
So if you want to email in your thoughts or anything about
on
Haunting of Hill House, that's
Yeah.
to Tad. The top 10 modern horror films from 2000 and on is to me.
Yep.
So
Yep. So that is what we got coming down the pike. Thank you all for just being involved. This has been fun. I know Peter didn't like me for this, but you know what? I'll say, because just in the spirit of what I've been telling Hayden, because I've been teasing him about a reaction channel we want to do with
Yeah.
Hayden watching horror movies, and I told him whatever you got to do for content.
yeah,
Because we were just discussing after Agatha, I'm like, you know that at some point the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre has got to get watched, right? He's like, dude, I still haven't been able to get through it. He's like, I tried it on my own. I'm like, But when cameras are rolling and it's an episode, you got to watch it.
For the channel.
So in that spirit, if one day you want to torture me
Top 10 movies.
for content, I won't stab you.
All right. Shoot me, wound me, punch me, any of that, or just stab
Or
me?
stick some kind of creature on you.
I know you have one.
But I will sign off as I always do by saying, love what you love. Let your geek flag fly high, and to hell with anyone that says anything to you about guilty pleasures, because there's no such thing.
Tad's a bastard.
All right, we'll see you guys in a fortnight.
Bye, everyone.